right, stick with me because we are starting this story on a burning highway with 40-degree asphalt melting my skin. The thing I remember is chilling on my couch, looking at my phone. Suddenly everything went black and I woke up in this literal hell, forced myself up. Years of office work left my body weak, and this suffocating heat made everything 10 times worse. Looking around, all I saw was a straight 3-lane highway stretching out until it completely vanished into the distant horizon. Nothing but a desolate desert on both sides. No buildings, plants, or people, just endless yellow sand and a howling wind. One side of the road vanished into the distance, the other, blocked by a thick, dark mist that seemed to move with its own life. Just looking at it gave me chills. Right then, I noticed a strange silver bracelet locked onto my left wrist, impossible to remove. Suddenly it glowed, projecting a floating holographic screen with a terrifyingly clear message: the global highway race has officially begun. Every human between 16 and 50 was dragged into this game. If you die here, it is permanent. No second chances. First 24 hours are a solo tutorial. Once that timer runs out, the rest of the players will finally appear here. The rules were clear: stay away from the mist, never step on the sand, search for supplies, and move before night falls. Right next to me sat an old rusty van, my starter vehicle. I zoomed in and started exploring my bracelet's interface. I discovered an active regional chat channel where I could read real-time messages from other survivors trapped in my exact zone. Most people were losing their minds, crying and begging to go home. Only a few tried to stay calm to analyze the situation. Checking my stats, my physical strength was a tragic 8, but my mental resilience sat at a pretty decent 13. Empty slots in my inventory and 5 liters of fuel. Then came the starter draw. Everyone gets a free random talent ranging from common to silver rank. On the wheel and hit the jackpot with silver rank, the highest starting tier. Ability: promotion. Any item 1 rank with guaranteed success, 2 ranks at 20%, or 3 at 0.01%. 1-day cooldown. Then a crazy idea hit me. If it upgrades any item, does my own talent count as 1? Pay close attention here. And skill actually work. If it failed, I would lose everything on the spot. Desperate times call for extreme measures, so I took the gamble. It worked. I recognized my talent as an upgradable item. I made the call, and the result shattered all expectations. The talent jumped 3 whole tiers, straight into the mythical category. A new ability was called Rule Breaker. Now, I can upgrade items 5 times a day with 0 issues. 100% success for 1 tier, 30 for 2, and 5 for 3. Guaranteed triple upgrade every 72 hours. The mythical rank is the absolute ceiling, only applying to resources, equipment, or blueprints. Once the hype faded, reality hit me hard. I was dehydrated, exhausted, without food or water, and carrying only 5 liters of gas. My newbie protection would disappear in 24 hours, and after that would have to face hostile players and the first disaster. In the steering wheel, I started the engine and it roared to life. Automatic transmission and push button start, pretty luxurious features for a rusty piece of junk. Staring at that endless road, I made my move. The bracelet read 1220. I accelerated gently to save gas. The van barely reached 60 kilometers per hour. And with only 5 liters of fuel, I couldn't afford to waste a drop. Empty black asphalt cutting through the yellow desert. No traffic signs, no other vehicles, absolutely nothing around me. I know what you're thinking, that silence is terrifying. With one hand on the wheel, I searched my bracelet for anything useful. The main concerns were basic survival needs: water, food, fuel, and gear. I had nothing. According to the survival novels I used to read, resources should appear on the highway, probably in crates, but after driving nearly a whole kilometer, I still saw nothing. Frustrato, I opened the regional chat to see if anyone had luck. It was total chaos. Someone's mother vanished looking for water, and another guy's car broke down the moment he started it. While everyone begged for help, a few interesting messages about starting talents caught my attention. One person got a common skill called minor self-healing, pretty useless since their wounds kept bleeding heavily. Another survivor unlocked a bronze physical boost that made him feel much stronger. A third got an iron rank water detection skill with a 50-meter range, but it never triggered once, so normal players only got common or silver ranks at best. My power broke the system by leaping straight to mythical. Comes after silver, gold, legend. Nobody has any idea, and is mythical rank truly the peak of power? Then I looked at my ride. It is marked as level 1, meaning vehicle upgrades definitely exist in this game. More speed and power, you and I are going to survive this highway madness together. Come along with me to see how our main character survives when his cheat skill totally fails him. He needs a plan now. Driving for a while, I spot something strange. Dark grey metal box sitting right in the road, suitcase-sized. I brake, stopping 5 meters back. I'm not risking running out there just yet. I'm inside for a whole minute, checking every single mirror. No signs of people, traps, or anything weird around, just sand in a deserted highway. As I step out and touch the box, my bracelet suddenly vibrates with a new message. Common supply chest detected. Open, but just before I do, a question hits me. Will my upgrade skill work on this? Denies it due to incompatibility. Guess I have no choice but to just open it directly. The chest glows softly, turns translucent, and dissolves into sparks. Instantly, my inventory is flooded with sweet, sweet loot. 2 500-milliliter water bottles, 2 100-gram compressed biscuits, and 50 grams of jerky, 30-gram chocolate bar, and 10 liters of fuel for 100 kilometers. 5 items take up half my inventory. The 3 golden rules of survival: water, food, and fuel are completely taken care of. And finally relax a bit. In the truck, I lean back against the seat and close my eyes for a second. I feel ready, because more resources also mean deadly traps, monsters, or even rival survivors waiting to strike. Kicking off those dark thoughts, I gently step on the gas pedal and continue heading down the road. In a steady 50 kilometers per hour, I save fuel while staying on absolute high alert. Scoring that first box is a huge relief. With supplies and 15 total liters of fuel, I can go another 130 kilometers. Do not even bother opening the regional chat, probably still full of terrified people screaming and begging for help. Watching everyone lose their minds will not help me at all. My absolute priority must be the road and grabbing more loot. After 20 minutes and 20 kilometers down the road, I spot something pretty unusual off to the right side. Another metal box, slightly smaller than the last one, sits at the base of a dune. It glows bronze and has highly detailed carvings. I pull the truck over and keep watching from inside for a moment, scanning every single corner. Walk over, touch the chest, and my bracelet vibrates. It is bronze tier. Open. Bronze level is way better than a common box. I do not hesitate for a single second. The chest dissolves in bright flashes. Just like the previous one, my inventory gets some incredible gear. A green automatic crossbow with 10 bolts, 4 sports drinks, 4 energy bars, and 2 vacuum-packed eggs. Way better than that first chest. This crossbow is pure gold, my first real weapon, even if it is a basic civilian model. Easy to use, decent power. Here is where you and I get creative, because my broken skill actually works on equipment. Can I upgrade this crossbow? Focus all my energy and activate my special talent, pointing directly at the weapon. Bracelet flashes a brilliant blue, and the weapon instantly evolves from green to blue rank. Now it has an extended magazine, bonus damage against beasts, and 20 bolts instead of 10. Talk about a brutal power jump. Driven by greed, I try to upgrade it again to make it even more broken, but nothing happens. Zero system response. I get the rules now, 1 upgrade per item, no stacking. In my charges, I have 4 out of 5 left before midnight. Every single charge could save my life, so I prefer to save my remaining upgrades for later. Unless it is an emergency, I will not waste them on trash. Better to wait and see what shows up on the road. The bronze chest did not have fuel, which is a shame, but my current reserves are still pretty decent. Sip of water, place the crossbow on the passenger seat to keep it handy, and start driving. With a real weapon in my hands and plenty of supplies, I finally feel like I have a real fighting chance. As I drive, I look for a pattern. First chest appeared 10 kilometers in, right in the middle of the asphalt. The second popped up 20 kilometers later next to a dune. No clear logic here. The distances keep changing constantly. These boxes are about 40 centimeters wide. Not small, but it is incredibly easy to miss them in this blazing heat. That is exactly why I refuse to read the chat. Any dumb distraction could make me drive right past a valuable chest. And missing a chest basically means death. I wonder if there are more boxes buried under the sand, far off the highway. The warning was crystal clear. Do not leave the highway. I'm not risking my life to find out what is out there. Survival means playing it safe. I have only been here an hour. but I am more exhausted than after a long office day. Being alert is exhausting. Think we will survive this highway? Let us find out in the next chapter. Alright, you and I are going on a wild ride despite the absolute exhaustion. There was this spark. Surviving on pure wits felt incredibly satisfying. Maybe deep down, I always wanted something like this. My head to focus again. 30 minutes and 20 kilometers later, I spotted another grey metal box on the left. It was just a basic level 1 chest. Before stepping out, I cleared inventory space by moving items to the back seat. Since my bracelet only holds 10 things, gripping my crossbow tightly, I headed straight over to open it. Loot was pretty basic. A roll of paper, a lemon energy drink, a small lighter, and 3 metal blocks. Nothing crazy, but those blocks caught my eye. According to the bracelet system, they could be used for crafting and repairs later on. They could be vital later. The real worry was fuel. After driving 60 kilometers, I had only 6 liters left, barely enough for 60 more. Without finding gas soon, the truck would leave me completely stranded in the middle of nowhere. I drove another hour, covering 40 more kilometers to reach 100 total. My anxiety spiked so much I considered stopping to save gas, but then something caught my eye. White flash in the distance, gleaming against the yellow desert sand, way off the road. Pay close attention right here. It had that same metallic shine as the supply crates. Was it another chest or something completely different? I cut the engine and stared. It was too far, but with zero fuel and few options left, I made a choice. Whatever it was worth risking a look. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed my crossbow, opened the door, and stepped onto the burning sand toward that distant flash. But first I carefully prepared 4 bottles of sports water from the back seat straight into my bracelet storage. Carrying water was vital in this brutal heat. Food behind. No matter what happened, that truck was my only lifeline. If anything went wrong, I would head right back. With that thought, I took my very first step off the highway, and my foot landed. Searing pain shot through my soles. Walking was awful. The soft sand swallowed me like thick cotton. Every single step demanded massive effort. Within minutes, I was completely drenched in sweat. No breeze out here like when driving. The heat trapped me like a cage, and breathing felt like swallowing fire. And temperature must have been over 50 degrees. I walked for half an hour and barely made it 1 kilometer. Sometimes I stopped to rest on the dunes, taking tiny sips of water, not daring to drink too much. Another 20 minutes, I finally reached the shining object, 1.5 kilometers from the highway, but it had taken me almost 50 minutes to get here. Drenched, my legs felt like lead, and I barely had the strength to lift my arms. In the chest, and seeing the notification made my fatigue fade slightly. An iron tier supply chest had been detected. I know exactly what you are thinking, and yeah, it was totally worth it. Opening it made every single miserable step worth it. 20 liters of fuel, a lucky pendant, and an engine. The gas alone solved my massive crisis. Not stop to inspect them. I had to get back to the vehicle before collapsing. Even worse, my body was completely spent. My vision blurred from the extreme heat and exhaustion, leaving me with only 1 water bottle. I pushed forward on pure willpower, sipping slowly, staying alert for danger, and placing one foot after another with just one goal: return to the truck. It took me almost an hour to get back. Driving, I practically collapsed into the driver's seat without a single drop of energy, not even lift my hands. I lay there gasping for over 10 minutes before I could even wiggle a finger. I drank the very last drop of water, wiped the sand and sweat from my face, and finally opened my inventory to inspect the loot, especially that engine. I could install it in the truck. It would change everything. Resting a bit, I started sorting the items from the iron chest. First, the 20 liters of fuel. I transferred it straight to the tank using the bracelet's power. Added to my remaining fuel, I was finally safe. That was a huge relief. Next up was the lucky pendant, a blue tier accessory that slightly increased the drop rate of better chests. It was a great long-term investment. The more chests I opened, the more useful it would be. So I decided to use a charge of my talent on it. The results stunned me. Instead of going up just 1 level, it skipped 2 whole ranks, reaching gold quality. Now it vastly improved high-quality rare loot, and even gave a small chance to avoid minor dangers. I hung it up immediately. A tiny amulet shaped like a gourd appeared right next to the dashboard. Then I examined the green tier engine, which promised to add 21 to my speed and reduce fuel consumption by 20%. Me on this one, this truck is everything I have for shelter, transport, and pure survival. Alright, you and I are about to dive into this wild survival ride where our main character uses his talent on the engine, finding his first crates ready. Upgraded to rare blue quality. Speed shot up to 40, fuel economy jumped by 40%, and the durability just skyrocketed. Installed it right away. Vehicle statistics completely transformed. The truck's top speed jumped from 60 to 100 kilometers per hour. A massive upgrade that left me with 2 charges. The pendant and the engine were totally worth it. I also started reflecting on what I learned from this brutal desert route. The sand hides better crates, but searching is hell due to extreme heat, heavy terrain, and massive water consumption. My rule is to stick to the highway unless I desperately need fuel or high-level supplies, and only brave the sand if it's safe. Surviving slowly beats taking risks. Started the truck, hit the highway, and kept driving. With a full tank and a much faster engine, I felt immensely safer than before. I kept my eyes glued to the road and dunes, one hand on the wheel, the other ready near my crossbow. It was almost 4 p.m. when I decided to speed up. The newly upgraded engine ran incredibly smooth and quiet, like the noisy mess from before. Drove 100 kilometers straight and found 4 supply crates along the way. No time wasted. Stop, touch, open, loot, and move. Every crate vanished in seconds, going straight into my inventory. By the time I managed to open the very last crate, it was almost 6 p.m. The sun fell fast, leaving a dark red glow on the horizon. It swallowed the desert and the air turned freezing cold. Watch closely, because the bracelet flashed with a global alert the night had officially begun. Visibility would keep dropping, and driving at night meant unknown dangers. I wasn't going to push my luck. Shut off the engine and used the remaining light to check my loot. 2 basic crates contained survival essentials, 4 instant noodles, 2 compressed biscuits, and 3 pieces of cloth. The 2 bronze crates were much better. 8 more bottles of water, 5 vacuum-packed breads, 3 boiled eggs, 12 metal blocks, 4 rubber, 3 plastic pieces, and liters of fuel that brought huge relief. But everything spent on the trip. But the real treasure in those bronze crates was 2 special items. First, a green blueprint for the chassis. With this, I could craft a stronger frame, boosting durability and load capacity. 20 metal blocks, 5 rubber, and 5 plastic. But my inventory only has 15 metal, 4 rubber, and 3 plastic. Still not enough. I thought about upgrading the blueprint using my talent, but I paused for a second. If the upgrade increased the material cost, I'd lose out. So I was left wondering, can you imagine how broken it would be to upgrade the blueprint before crafting? Let's think about this. Could I upgrade the finished product again? If so, that would be absolutely insane. Enough materials, I couldn't test it, so I stored the blueprint for later. Second, green reinforced glass for the truck's broken windows. No hesitation. My vehicle is my sanctuary, especially at night. Window protection matters. I used my talent instantly, and it upgraded to rare blue crystallized armored glass. Description said it was incredibly durable and could even block out some of the outside temperature. Installed it right away. Old cracked glass vanished, replaced by solid panels that fit perfectly. Touching it, I felt how thick and sturdy it was. Consumed my 3rd daily talent charge, leaving me with just 1. All the food and water right behind the driver's seat for quick access. Sitting inside the truck with the new armored glass, I felt so much safer. Watching the sky darken, I wondered if my gains were good compared to others, or if the golden pendant was already helping. Night fell, and the system warned that staying inside was safest. No driving, no going out. My body was exhausted after 6 hours of continuous action. My mind was racing. Since I couldn't move, I decided to use this free time to gather information. Small comfort was that my parents are over 50, outside the 16 to 50 range of this deadly game. They are safe. I'm alone in this, but at least I don't have to worry about them. First, I opened the world chat. Complete chaos. Messages flew by so fast I could barely read, and over 90% were cries for help. In minutes, I closed it. Totally useless. The regional channel looked much better. Each person could only send 3 daily messages, reducing spam. Still, with 100,000 people in this region, there was plenty to read. I read closely. Some begged for food, others hid in cars, and I will soon see how this madness ends. They ignored gathering resources, pure madness. Stick with me as we watch these people deny reality completely. They won't survive long. Luckily, others shared actual helpful tips like hunting for supply crates on the highway. Just touch to open them, and always stay inside your car at night. Simple advice but life-saving for rookies. Many were already planning alliances for when the 24-hour rookie period ended. Some flexed their skills to attract girls promising iron rank, free food, and total protection. Rookie behavior. But I focused on talents. Most everyone had common ones. Iron was scarce and bronze was incredibly rare. Nobody even mentioned silver rank. One guy with a bronze mental alert talent complained it was completely useless today. After scrolling through the chat for over an hour, I noticed a massive detail. Not a single soul mentioned finding blueprints, reinforced glass, or special equipment in their crates. Most got basic food, water, and common materials. Even the lucky few with bronze crates got the same stuff, just slightly better. No one mentioned green items. Pay attention here because this was the exact moment everything clicked for me. Loot today was unmatched, but I knew the smart players would never show their hand so easily. I just watched for hours without writing a word. Feel your strategy in a brutal survival game like this. One thing bothered me: the trading system was locked. Private messages were disabled, and every single user was completely anonymous. Would these unlock after the 24-hour rookie phase? Or did they require some kind of special activation? No way to tell yet. I closed the chat and stared into the pitch black night through my bulletproof glass. I felt a massive wave of relief. I was in full control, holding a huge, undeniable advantage. Next steps: keep hunting resources, gather materials to upgrade my car chassis, and prepare for whatever disaster comes next. By 8:30 in the evening, I felt completely and utterly exhausted from gathering, plus another 2 reading chat. I wanted sleep, but remembered I still had 2 daily talent uses left. They reset at midnight, so if I didn't use them right now, they would be completely wasted. No high-tier gear to upgrade. I grabbed a simple water bottle and used my talent on it. Jumped up to green quality. The description said it cured fatigue instantly and restored mental energy for a whole hour. Putting it on water felt like a waste, so I pulled out another bottle for my final attempt. I got lucky. It skipped 2 full ranks, hitting blue quality instantly. The water became a strength serum. Look at this with me. The description literally made my heart race. Permanently boosts a basic physical stat. No daily limit, though you can only drink 1 of each quality per day. Permanent stat boosts from plain water. My regret instantly vanished. This cheat talent was insane, and that was just blue tier. What about higher ranks? I drank it immediately. Pleasant warmth surged through my body, tingling in my limbs as all my exhaustion completely melted away. In my stats, my strength jumped from 8 to 9. My aching arms pulsed with new energy. 1 point makes a massive difference. Considered using my second talent skill, forces a 3-rank upgrade on blueprints with a 72-hour cooldown. Materials, it was completely pointless. It was smarter to wait until tomorrow and see if I could find something even more valuable. Besides, I needed to activate it tomorrow anyway. The sooner I used it, the faster the cooldown would start. In my seat, I laid down and fell asleep, but shortly after, a violent tremor shook me awake. My crossbow and checked the time. 12:30 at night. It was pitch black outside, no light anywhere, not even from my car. Only my glowing bracelet lit the dark. Only heavy, dull thuds began vibrating throughout the entire car. Something was hitting my car. My heart was pounding, but then I remembered the survival rules. We were still in the rookie phase. If the car wasn't completely safe, nobody would survive this first night. Taking a deep breath, I gripped my crossbow tightly, pressing myself against the seat while staring into the dark. I wasn't moving. Whatever was out there had to break bulletproof glass first. I barely slept. Strange, terrifying noises shook the car all night, but thankfully nothing managed to break in. I drifted in and out of sleep, hugging my crossbow, until the morning sky finally began to brighten. In the morning, the night finally ended. You and I are about to see what everyone was saying in the chat. Stick with me to see how a single night changed the rules of this game forever. 100,000 to 93,632. Souls lost in a second. Brutal warning that this was no game. Only 6 hours of safety remained before our paths crossed. This was my last shot to prepare. I lowered the gas while eating a hard-boiled egg, eyes locked on the road. But after an entire hour and 50 kilometers of driving, absolutely nothing. not a single crate in sight, until finally I saw a bright metallic glint right ahead. Supply crate. Inside was a level 1 upgrade blueprint, a tactical knife, 5 metal blocks, 5 rubber and 5 plastic. That blueprint was everything. It listed the requirements to upgrade my truck from level 1 to level 2. Level 2 engine was already installed. Level 2 glass windows were ready. Only the chassis was missing. Everything clicked for me right then. Engine and bulletproof glass I upgraded yesterday were absolutely vital for this massive transformation today. I just needed to craft the chassis, and luckily I still had yesterday's blueprint to check my resources. Combining yesterday's and today's loot, I had exactly what I needed. 20 metal blocks, 5 rubber and 5 plastic. What about using my talent to upgrade the blueprint, but stopped? A higher level would require too many materials, delaying me. Way better to craft the part first and upgrade it afterward. Instantly activated my special talent, leaped to rare blue quality, creating a super tough alloy with boosted defense and stability. Watch closely as I install this. The truck is about to transform right before our eyes. All the rust and dents vanished completely. The exterior looked flawless, and the old seats felt like absolute luxury now. With all 3 parts finally locked in place, I triggered the main upgrade to hit level 2 immediately. I temporarily locked the vehicle, while a loading progress bar slowly began to fill up. Once it hit 100%, the results popped up. A level 2 truck with a top speed of 120 kilometers and 3 blue parts. An extra bonus, the system gifted me 50 liters of fuel for successfully reaching level 2. The truck looked identical outside, but it now hit 120 kilometers per hour and supported advanced parts. Incredibly hyped. I was positive that nobody else had pulled this off yet. My survival in this brutal world was feeling highly secure. Plenty of food, water, weapons, gas, a golden luck charm, and my level 2 ride. Now check out what comes next. If I could find just one blue item today and trigger my talent to jump it up 3 ranks, I could get something that easily surpassed the golden rank. I didn't even know what came next, but I wanted to find out. Calmed my excitement after wrapping up the level 2 upgrade and kept driving. Only 4 hours left in the safety phase. A few kilometers ahead, I saw another iron crate on the roadside. Last time I almost died crossing the scorching desert for one. This one was served up on a silver platter. I decided to check the regional chat to see what was happening. Sure enough, everyone was saying crates were spawning much more often, and the system boosted rewards for day 2. Looking at the common military knife from before, I decided not to waste a daily charge of my upgrade skill on it. And if I boosted it to uncommon green, it would still be a basic weapon. I had to save my power for real life-saving gear. Noticing a clear pattern in these rarities. Common is level 1 and green is level 2. Blue is level 3 and my gold charm is level 5. Think about it, what kind of power does level 4 hold? 20 kilometers later, I reached a fork with 2 identical 3-lane highways splitting off in different directions. No signs, no road markings, absolutely nothing to tell them apart. As I debated which way to go, the gold charm on my dash glowed brightly. One hunch forced me to turn right. I trusted the charm's warning and steered right. 100 kilometers over the next 2 hours, there was nothing. Not a single supply crate in sight. I was seriously starting to lose my patience with this useless pendant. Water were running low and the safe phase was ending. Don't find anything by noon, I'm smashing this stupid trinket, I muttered angrily. Just as I was about to turn the truck completely around, a brilliant metallic flash by the roadside caught my eye. This crate was massive, shining with an elegant silver finish I'd never seen before. A bracelet confirmed it instantly. A silver supply crate. Inside were 4 items, including a rare blue power core that completely eliminated the need for fuel. This device could power a level 2 vehicle for a whole day. Uncommon green blueprint for air conditioning, plus plastic and rubber. Believe me, you and I are just getting started. This out 12 cups of instant noodles and 5 bottles of water. It is not much, but it is exactly what I needed. Completely solved my long-term fuel issues, and the air conditioner blueprint would finally beat the scorching heat inside the van. Looking at the pendant, I felt a bit guilty for cursing it. In the end, it led me straight to my best chest yet. I held the power core in my hand, a small blue sphere roughly the size of a billiard ball. Them asked if I wanted to install it, but I refused. First, I wanted to test my special talent skill on it. 72-hour cooldown. Not noon yet. Something better. I would use it there. Otherwise, the core was the target. The vehicle is my most valuable resource, and power is its true lifeblood. Every single decision had to benefit the van. The very first thing I did was inspect that air conditioner blueprint. I needed 2 metal blocks, 1 plastic and 1 rubber. I had the last 2 but used all my metal on the chassis. I needed more and fast. Organized my supplies, stacking food and water in the back. Level 2 vehicle looked spotless inside, with no rear seats and a clear floor perfect for storage. There was less than 1 hour left before the beginner phase ended. Every second counted. 30 minutes later, I found a common chest containing 5 metal blocks, white grade glasses, and some chocolate. Those metal blocks were exactly what I was missing. Watch closely here, because I started believing that golden luck pendant influenced everything. I crafted the air conditioner right away. Green quality, dual mode with adjustable temperature from 16 to 30 degrees. The only catch, 10% higher power consumption. What about boosting it with my talent? But decided to wait. Comfort item was not worth wasting a precious charge when I needed survival stats. The next 20 minutes yielded absolutely nothing, not even a single chest. The clock was ticking toward noon. Stopped the van halfway and pulled the blue power core out of that silver chest. I saved my talent's second ability specifically for this exact moment. The 3-rank leap with a 72-hour cooldown. The core was already rank 3. More ranks would push it to rank 6, far beyond gold. I concentrated and activated it. The result almost choked me. The blue jumped 3 ranks straight to orange quality. The core transformed into a vehicle nuclear reactor with unlimited power. Infinite fuel forever. Stared at those words with shaking hands. No more anxiety, no more rationing, and no fear of running dry. You and I both know that this single item completely resolved my biggest survival challenge on this highway. Orange quality. Not even know this rank existed until now. I stood there holding the glowing orange sphere, my heart racing as I processed it. Suddenly my bracelet chimed, marking 12 o'clock. Highway survival had officially begun. The beginner phase was over. And at 12 o'clock sharp, system announcements flooded my screen. The tutorial stage was over. An extreme heatwave event had officially started. Temperatures would continue to rise for 7 days until the next phase. New features unlocked, trading limited to 3 daily exchanges, a friends list with private messaging, and the option to hide personal information. Most importantly, some roads would now cross paths with other players, and monsters would start to appear. I was still processing this when I noticed a glitch on my bracelet. The clock was replaced by a red 3-minute countdown already at 2. There was no time to think. The heat already surpassed 40 degrees. If this was not even considered extreme heat, things were about to get far worse. I out my green grade air conditioner and used my talent. 30% chance to leap 2 ranks activated again, boosting it straight to purple quality. Temperature range from 12 to 32 degrees, rapid cooling, and a screen displaying both indoor and outdoor temperatures. Air purification with 15% more power consumption. Just laughed at that last part. Power usage. A nuclear reactor with infinite energy. A tiny air conditioner would not even scratch it. Installed it immediately. Cold air flooded the cabin as soon as it turned on. After a day and a half of stifling heat, that first icy blast was heaven. I sealed all the windows, set it to a stable 25 degrees, and watched as the countdown hit 0. Everything became blurry for a second, as if space itself was warping. As my vision cleared, the outside world had completely transformed. Endless desert vanished. The road remained straight, but now there were green bushes on the sides and scattered trees up ahead. It was still a wide view, but this time with genuine signs of life. 25 inside, 28 outside. I'm warned it will keep rising, so prepare yourselves for what comes next. Get ready, because you and I are about to watch this quiet world turn into a literal hell. Immediately pulled up the regional chat to check the map, the rules, the monsters, and other players. Wanted to see what everyone was dealing with. So I scrolled through a flood of desperate messages. People were searching for survivors, begging for fuel, and crying over the crazy shifts in the terrain. The desert was now a dry wasteland full of dead shrubs, and everyone was panicking over the monsters. I quickly brushed off all that mass hysteria and jumped straight into the new trading system. I wanted to see if anyone had good blueprints or gear. But the listings were a total disappointment. Nearly 7 out of 9 posts were trading food for gas. Fuel was vital for everyone except for me. The very first things I looked for were weapons, but everything listed was pure garbage. Just wooden sticks, rusty knives, and basic gear. Nothing green tier, let alone a real gun. Nobody in their right mind would trade a good weapon. In a real fight to survive, defense is everything. Only useless junk hits the market. Out of 100,000 regional players, not even 100 blueprints existed. Watch closely because these drop rates were absolutely ridiculous. Most were basic items like tables or storage boxes, but a mini fridge blueprint caught my eye. White quality, cheap materials, but it needed stable power and increased fuel consumption by 5%. Anyone else would reject it due to power draw, but with my nuclear reactor I had infinite energy. I favorited it and kept searching until I spotted a green blueprint for reinforced off-road tires. It would upgrade my truck tires with heavy-duty rubber, boosting durability against flat tires, plus they added extra speed. The seller wanted 50 liters of gas, a crazy price in the past. Now that extra fuel was dead weight. Trading useless gas for new tires was a no-brainer. I sent an offer for 20 liters and drove on, not expecting an instant reply. Using my remaining resources, I had 3 metal blocks, 3 plastic, and 2 rubber. Way too low, I urgently needed materials. I started the engine again, which purred smoothly, thanks to my infinite supply of power. Zero worries about being stranded without gas. But right then, I looked at the temperature gauge. It rose from 28 to 29 degrees in under an hour. Heat was just starting. At this rate, the heat would be lethal in 7 days. 50 degrees or more would kill anyone unprotected. Rolled up the windows, set the AC to 25 degrees, and drove. Others had no air power or gas. Brutal heat wave was going to wipe out so many survivors, while I cruised along in total peace, completely comfortable thanks to my upgraded truck and my limitless energy. I plan to buy that blueprint, but you and I know this is a deadly game of survival. For a whole hour, I found absolutely nothing. Not box, but from 70 to 50 kilometers per hour, so I wouldn't miss a thing. Finally, at 3 in the afternoon, I saw a grey box under a dry tree 50 meters off the road. But there was a catch. A massive wolf was guarding it, bigger than a tiger, with huge, terrifying claws. I'm just a 30-year-old office worker. Never killed anything in my life, not even a chicken. I was terrified. My first instinct was to drive closer, but the system immediately flashed a warning: not leave the road without risking punishment. Driving straight to the box was out of the question. Then I remembered my blue crossbow, lethal against beasts. I'm inside by rolling the window down. I missed. The bulletproof glass would protect me. I aimed carefully and pulled the trigger. I hit the tree. More shots, all misses. Going crazy, I had never shot at anything before. On the 7th try, the bolt pierced its back. Blood sprayed as the howling beast charged straight at my van, and violently against the doors, clawing the metal and shaking the entire vehicle with pure rage. Forcing myself to stay calm, I waited for an opening and shot its underbelly, but it kept attacking. Suddenly, it leaped and shoved a claw through the open window, slashing my arm and making me bleed. Enduring the pain, I aimed right at its eye as it backed up and fired. Direct hit. The wolf screeched, twitched, and went still. The crazy fight you and I just witnessed. I sat shaking for 25 minutes before collapsing in my seat. Come along with me on this wild ride. I was bleeding from a scratch, and though I won, this fight dragged me back to reality. I was getting way too cocky with easy upgrades, good loot, and infinite energy. This like a game, because winning was easy. But that wolf reminded me I am just an ordinary guy without combat skills. One mistake and I would be dead. Moving fast, I grabbed the unopened supply box and ran straight back to my truck. Would open it later when I was safe. Approaching the wolf, my bracelet suddenly asked if I wanted to harvest the body. This really is like a game, I muttered, confirming the command. I received 80 units of green rank wolf meat. It slowly restores my stamina and mental energy. 80 pounds of solid food after a fight of pure terror. In the truck, staring at the empty field, the blood on my arm, and the meat stored in my inventory, I made myself a strict promise: never get careless again. I have to survive and do way better than everyone else. In the cool air of the vehicle, I let my heart calm down after the fight. My arm still stung, but it was time to check my loot. First up, the wolf meat, 80 units of green rank food. Remembered how upgrading a simple water bottle to blue rank gave me a permanent physical point. Doing the same with this meat would be a massive win. For that, I focused on the supply box I rescued from underneath the tree. Pay close attention here, because as I wiped away the dust, a silver glow appeared. Silver rank chest. Risky gamble paid off, revealing 3 items inside. Another blue energy core, a green shadowblade pistol with a 15-round magazine, and a white multi-use seasoning with 50 uses. One gun completely took my breath away. A real gun. In this brutal world of monsters and survivors, a firearm changes everything. The crossbow worked, but it was just too slow and clumsy. Having a handgun meant I could finally defend myself at close range. Already spent 2 talent charges on the chassis and air conditioning. I had 3 left, so I used 2 and saved the last. I used my talent on the gun. 30% chance to skip 2 ranks, triggered again, bypassing green to go straight to purple. The shadow blade transformed into the purple rank phantom pistol, equipped with an advanced silencer, 15-round magazine, and 1 regenerating bullet per hour. Infinite ammo. It is slow, but it means I will never run out. Next, I upgraded a portion of wolf meat, jumped a rank to blue quality, becoming strengthened wolf meat. The effect is incredible. Eating 1 portion permanently increases a physical stat by 1 point. Once a day, with no upgrade limit, I had 80 portions, 80 days of stacking physical stats. My current level was only 9, just below the human average of 10. Think about that for a second. With this, I was going to completely smash past any human limits. Unfortunately, my talent only upgrades 1 item at a time, so I will spend 1 daily charge on the meat, a tiny price to pay. The seasoning was also a great bonus. 50 portions perfect for cooking. I checked the time and it was already 8 in the evening, and parked for over an hour. Temperature rose to 35 degrees, 7 higher since I arrived a few hours ago. At this rate, the 7-day heat wave would be deadly. I started the engine and drove off immediately. The wound on my arm throbbed with every turn of the wheel, but I stayed alert. This cut was worth every single drop of blood. A new phantom pistol on the passenger seat and tossed the crossbow in the back. Sorry, old friend. Things change, I joked. Being a real gun made everything feel completely different, giving me way more confidence and control. Over the next few hours, more supply boxes appeared. 20 minutes in, I already found the first one. Common box containing frozen dumplings, instant rice, a 12-pack of colas, and 5 metal blocks. Almost cried seeing the cola and dumplings. 2 days of eating compressed biscuits and plain water had totally ruined my taste buds. I promised myself a real proper dinner for tonight. Roasted wolf with rice and a can of cola. Boxes kept appearing. By 5:40, I already had 4 common ones. Steady flow kept me calm. Among the loot were 6 components: flour, 12 water bottles, 3 pieces of glass, 10 metals, 5 rubbers, and cooking utensils. New materials were showing up. Glass and electronic components would definitely be key to crafting things in the future. Cooking set was just pots, bowls, chopsticks, and a fork. Nothing fancy, but at least I could finally cook my meat. Slot inventory was filling up, so I pulled out all the basic materials. When taken out, they automatically compressed into tiny cubes. A pretty useful compression technology. Incredible. In the back to free up space, ready for what you and I will discover next. Come along with me. At 5:40, I searched for a place to sleep, but found no shelter, only endless wasteland and asphalt. I picked a spot with a view, parked on the highway, and shut off the engine, leaving only the air conditioning running. I popped open an ice-cold soda. Busy first gulp, sliding down my throat, instantly wiped away the exhaustion of this endless day. Inside was a cozy 24 degrees, while outside hit 40. The sun was setting, but the heat kept rising, which felt seriously alarming. Suddenly, something strange happened. 6:10 p.m. came and went, yet the system never announced the arrival of the night. The sky was not darkening like yesterday either, making the road clearly visible. Checking the regional chat, everyone was completely lost. With no darkness or warnings from the system, several players actually believed they would have a peaceful, safe night. Others assumed the tutorial was over and the game would stop warning us whenever danger was getting close. That second theory made total sense. Real survival game was starting now. Fewer hints, less guidance, and way more danger. Completely on our own now. With my weapon ready and plenty of supplies, I decided to do something I had been putting off: cook a real meal. Gripping my gun, I made sure no monsters were around and gathered dry branches from the bushes by the road. It was 40 degrees outside and the ground was boiling, but after 2 days of just crackers and water, I needed real food. Blue quality wolf meat with my tactical knife, seasoned it well, and threw it on to grill. Also made some self-heating rice. 30 minutes of sweating in that brutal heat. The meat was cooked perfectly crispy outside and incredibly juicy inside. Grabbed everything and ran back to my air-conditioned truck to escape the sauna. Sitting at a comfortable 24 degrees was pure heaven. Contrast made it the best dinner of my life. While eating, I checked my inbox. The blueprint seller finally replied. Bit of negotiating. We closed the deal for 30 liters of fuel instead of the original 20. She asked if we would trade more fuel in the future, and I agreed. Having a reliable trade partner is a huge help. Got the reinforced tires blueprint and had more than enough materials to craft them right away. Then I used my special talent to upgrade them to blue quality, high strength, explosion proof tires. Immune to punctures, they stop small bullets, reduce weather effects, and add 30 to speed. Installed them instantly. My speed jumped to 150 kilometers per hour. My ride looked sick with the blue engine and golden charm. Bulletproof glass, alloy chassis, blue tires, purple air conditioner, and that orange nuclear reactor. Only meets level 3 requirements. Print. Let's find out together. I bought a mini fridge blueprint from another player for 10 liters of fuel. They accepted instantly. No one wanted something that drained power when everyone was looking for gas. But for me, power was never an issue. Fridge blueprint was only common white quality, but I still used my talent to upgrade it. Jumped to green quality, giving me 10 slots for food and drinks while using just 10% more power, though I haven't crafted it yet. I had a theory to test. If I upgrade the blueprint first and then craft the item, can I upgrade the final product again? Works, it would be an absolutely broken skill, but I lacked materials, so I decided to save it for later. By 8 p.m. everything was set. I relaxed, cleaned my handgun, and waited for the darkness to roll in. The sky still refused to grow dark like the day before, and no warnings appeared from the system. I was ready for anything, better armed, fed, and protected than anyone. Suddenly, night fell instantly, burying the highway in absolute pitch black. Strange noises echoed from the bushes. Gripped my pistol tightly and quickly opened up the regional chat. 211, the girl who sold me the blueprint, sent me a friend request and I accepted it. Having a trustworthy partner was crucial. Thanked me for the deal and I told her I would buy more blueprints if she found any. Then she dropped some massive news. It turns out she always found blueprints inside her supply crates. Offered me first dibs on future blueprints if I kept supplying her with fuel. An absolute win-win deal. The massive opportunity blueprints are extremely rare, with less than 1 in 1,000 players ever finding one. Steady supply would speed up my upgrades immensely, so I accepted immediately. A nuclear reactor, fuel was never an issue, pure profit. Talked a bit more, then I closed the tab. Working together is fine, but I will never let my guard down around anyone. In this deadly game, trust is earned slowly. Nothing happened by midnight, but suddenly a desperate message arrived. You and I will have to wait until tomorrow to see what happens. Let's look at Suanwan, completely helpless as vicious monsters clawed at her vehicle. Desperate, she begged for help, offering her next crafting blueprint. Honestly, I hesitated for a second. Risking precious resources on a complete stranger went entirely against my survival instincts. But she was my absolute goldmine for blueprints. Those green tires she sold me were incredibly rare. If she died, I would lose my top supplier. Being fast, I grabbed my old blue crossbow, packed my last 10 arrows, and gave them to her free. No strings attached, no debts. Just keep the crossbow. Make your shots count and aim carefully, I texted. That was all I could do. 15 minutes later, she replied. She killed the beast. Surviving by a miracle, she made it, sending tearful voice messages filled with endless gratitude. Nonchalant. That weapon was just gathering dust, and keeping my main supplier alive was simply a smart business move. After that incredibly tense moment, the night finally calmed down. Watched for a while, weapon ready, but eventually fell asleep. And my eyes, dawn was already breaking. Another night survived. Woke up at 5:40 a.m. feeling incredible, without any neck or back pain. Despite sleeping on a car seat, I felt light and full of energy. better than any morning in my past life. This physical upgrade was real. I checked my stats. Physical strength jumped from 9 to 10, all thanks to that wolf meat from last night. Finally reached the average of a normal adult. This rate, I will completely surpass human limits. Stepped out to check the truck. Not a single scratch. Ground was clean without blood or claw marks. Nothing came near all night. Considering the brutal attack Swanwan just suffered. The regional chat was in absolute panic because the population dropped by 10,000. Leaving only 80,000 survivors. Now pay attention, they did not even touch me. I suspected my golden pendant's protective magic, but I was not sure. Would not lower my guard. The chat looked horrific. People begged desperately for weapons and medicine, weeping for friends whose profile pictures had already faded to grey. Someone discovered that green monster meat healed wounds, just as I had already experienced myself. Yesterday's scratch was fully healed. Without modern medicine, that meat was basically a real-life health potion. Luan messaged me. She wanted to return the crossbow. I stared at my screen, thinking it over. Not need that old crossbow. But for someone with zero combat skills like her, it was literally life or death. If she died, my best source of blueprints was gone. This was not charity. It was an investment. Insisted it was too valuable to take for free. So I set the terms that weapon was simply my investment to keep her breathing. In exchange, I got first dibs on any quality blueprint at a fair price, plus a bonus design to cover the weapon. She agreed instantly, promising to contact me first whenever she found new blueprints. What do you think of this deal? Get safety, I get blueprints, and at 6 in the morning we both win. Outside it was already 32 degrees. Today we did not hit 40 until afternoon. The heat was rising fast. I started the engine, ready to roll. It was another race against time for supplies before this world turned into a literal furnace. By 6 in the morning the heat was already pushing 35 degrees and rising fast. Heat waves made the highway shimmer. Luckily, my purple tier air conditioning kept the cabin freezing cold. Spent the morning hunting supply crates, finding 3 total, 1 common and 2 bronze.
Basic items, but there was a clear pattern with the fuel.
10 units here, 20 next, then 10 more. I now had 40 fuel units to trade. Felt like a gift, but I would soon understand why. Noon, the system dropped a massive bombshell, a speed race, forcing players to face system enemies. These attacks would scale based on the exact level of each player and their vehicle. Hitting enemies rewarded special chests. Instantly the chat exploded. We're barely surviving the heat, and now this. Suddenly it all made sense. That morning fuel was not a gift, it was preparation to make us run. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I froze. 5 black motorcycles in tight formation were roaring straight toward me. Riders wore tattered leather jackets, armed with heavy chains, rusty machetes, steel pipes, and dangerous Molotov cocktails. Those Molotov cocktails had me seriously worried. Get ready, because you and I are watching this guy speed at 100 kilometers per hour to escape enemy bikers. It could not last forever. After a 2-hour chase, it was time to fight with only 15 bullets left. My aim was absolute garbage, but I had to try. Put from 100 to 80 to let them close in. 50 meters, they started throwing Molotov cocktails. Bottles smashed against my car's blue frame without leaving a single scratch. Thank goodness the armor held. When the first bike pulled up beside me, I aimed right at the rider's chest and fired. 1 single shot. He flew off his motorcycle straight into the bushes. I waited for the rest. 2 more pulled up, so I fired 3 quick shots. Both bikes crashed and flipped over. The last 2 attacked together. 2 more bullets, 1 bike down and the other exploded. 15 shots, 5 kills. Race cleared. Reward claimed a special treasure chest. Suddenly the bodies and motorcycles completely vanished into thin air. A golden chest with strange markings appeared on the road. I grabbed it, went back inside, and opened it immediately. Inside were 3 valuable items, a green shooting mastery book and a level 1 upgrade blueprint. It was a useful duplicate for trading, along with an iron rank talent fragment. Hands were shaking with pure adrenaline. 15 shots fired, 5 confirmed kills, 0 misses. Not bad for an office worker who had never held a gun before. I immediately started checking my 3 rewards. First, the green shooting book. Using my talent, it instantly upgraded to blue rank. This upgraded version permanently grants advanced shooting techniques. It improves aim, stability, and visual tracking, while also teaching weapon maintenance. I used it without a second thought. The book dissolved into light, flowing into my mind and giving me muscle memory I had never trained for. Grip, breathing, aiming and recoil control. I felt as if I had been practicing this for years. I mimicked a gun with my hand, and my arm stayed completely steady, and bugs and predict their flight. Finally, I was no longer just a guy with a powerful weapon. Now I actually knew how to use it. Second item was a level 1 upgrade blueprint, completely useless to me until I thought of something. I upgraded it using my talent, forcing a double rank jump straight from level 1 to level 3. This level 3 blueprint showed the requirements to upgrade a vehicle from level 3 to level 4. I did not have a level 3 vehicle yet, but I already had the blue engine and level 3 crystals. Level 3 chassis was ready, but the core was missing. I got the blueprint before even having the right car. Still had to jump from level 2 to 3. Plus find that mysterious vehicle core component. Oddly enough, none of the upgrades required changing the tires. Not get why they left them out, but I moved on. The third item was an iron talent fragment. I know exactly what you are thinking. Can my mythic talent level up even further? I did the same thing. No clue, but collecting these fragments became my goal. 2:30 in the afternoon and the event continued. Thought about Swan Wan and wondered if she would survive. I messaged her and she replied after 5 agonizing minutes. She was alive, but her challenge was completely different. Instead of gangsters, her road was literally falling to pieces, and sinkholes opened right in front of her, forcing her to drive at top speed without stopping. Luckily, she had a green engine and maintained 80 kilometers per hour with plenty of fuel left. Awesome, my investment was still safe. I told her to keep me updated, closed the chat, and rested. 3 talent charges used today, and 2 left. Manual that turned me into an expert marksman. A level 3 blueprint that boosted my progress, and the very first piece to upgrade my talent. Massive haul for just 1 battle. The regional chat to see how others were holding up. Were facing utter chaos, with a black fog chasing them along with wild monsters. Nobody mentioned human enemies or motorcycle gangs. Confirmed my suspicion. And scaled difficulty based on your vehicle. Since my level 2 truck was superior, I got the hardest trial. The next 2 hours, I drove without spotting a single supply crate. The road was completely deserted. Weird, but I kept going. Around 6 in the evening, I saw something incredible on the horizon, a building. It was a service station with a metal sign. You and I are definitely going to want to see what is inside. Stumbled onto our very first system zone. Inside, massive, super weird futuristic machines. Machine recycled all leftover resources. It turned scrap into points. Metal, rubber, fuel materials, literally everything had a set value. Basic metal or fuel gave 1 point, while green tier materials were worth 2 points each. Right machine was the shop, selling everything from basic food to upgrade blueprints. Blueprints for vehicle parts cost 50 points. Level 1 upgrade cost 100 points. Level 2 was 200. Level 2 blueprint was exactly what I needed to upgrade my truck to level 3. I had to buy it. I started throwing my extras into the recycler. Food supplies, almost all fuel only keeping the bare basics. After selling off everything disposable, I hit 165 points, 35 short. Time to evaluate. My gun fridge blueprint, tactical knife, an energy core materials, and some wolf meat. Water tools and 50 units of fuel. I saved the crafting materials and the stat boosting meat. The gun was off limits. Now look closely, because we have to get creative to hit those 200 points. Still needed 35 points. Suddenly I saw the spare blue energy core from that silver chest. My nuclear reactor, I didn't need it. Its recycling value was 100 points. Put me at 265. Enough for the blueprint, but I had a way better idea. Why not upgrade the core with my talent before selling? I activated my rule breaker ability, jumped to purple quality, a high energy core capable of powering a vehicle for 7 whole days. Incredible but useless with my infinite power. It was worth 500 recycling points. 165 points in hand. Shopping time. I secured that level 2 upgrade. Blueprints for the chassis, windows, and engine at 50 points each, plus a level 1 upgrade for 100. Total spent 450. Level 2 blueprint detailed the requirements to immediately advance to level 3. Engine, glass, and chassis. Only the vehicle core was missing, required for the next level. Now, I know what you're thinking, where on earth do we find a vehicle core? Well, our main character is just as lost. My remaining 215 points, I bought metal, plastic, rubber, electronics, and more glass. These would serve for future creations. I camped at the supply station, safer than the open road, plus survivors might show up. 2 talent uses left. I upgraded wolf meat for my daily boost. Final charge was to test a major theory of mine. Could I upgrade a blueprint, craft the item, and then boost the finished product too? I crafted the fridge using that upgraded green blueprint, then used my talent on the finished appliance. Double rank upgrade activated, jumped straight to purple quality, becoming a smart storage unit. It offered 5 adjustable square meters, from -8 to 8 degrees, despite using 40% more power. The experiment worked. Upgrading the blueprint and then the physical object counted as 2 entirely separate actions. Both upgrades worked, meaning my rule breaker talent was way more valuable than I ever dreamed. I could double buff anything. Installed the fridge immediately with nuclear power. That extra consumption was nothing. Installation process was awesome. My bracelet projected a 3D hologram of the truck to place it. I placed it right behind the passenger seat to keep the vehicle's weight perfectly balanced. From the outside, it looked like a basic metal box, but inside, 5 square meters of massive space, stored my green wolf meat, 12 water bottles and seasonings, finally cold drinks in this brutal heat. Honestly, I deeply regretted recycling those sodas. It was officially confirmed upgrading blueprints and crafting are completely separate processes. Any green blueprint I found would end up purple at minimum, an absolutely massive advantage. Now, my top priority was getting 2 vehicle cores to jump straight to level 4, and that's where we leave it today. The regional chat is pure chaos, but we'll see how he handles it. Get ready, because you and I are diving into absolute chaos. 8,000 dead and 20,000 fallen in just 3 days. Several players found supply points, but barely anyone could afford the level 2 blueprint with their miserable resources. That meant they would soon catch up to my level 2 vehicle, ruining my lead. Suddenly, I spotted something useful. Looked like everyone was hunting for supplies. The system was basically throwing them a lifesaver they desperately needed. More survivors meant more competition. So I made dinner roasted wolf meat paired with cold water from the fridge. I used my special talent on another piece of meat, upgrading its quality to reinforced blue rank. Only 1 rank upgrade this time. Out of 5 attempts today, I only got a double. Those 35% rates disappointed me. Devoured that upgraded meat and watched my physical stats climb up to 11. Much stronger than yesterday. A slow but steady progress. I was getting ready for bed when Suan suddenly messaged me, saw my post about the cause, and offered to watch the world chat, not drive and stare at screens. So I let her monitor the screen. Just as I was settling down to sleep, a trade alert popped up. Pay close attention, because here is where our story gets really interesting. Wan sent me 2 green blueprints, vehicle upgrade and storage. She was already keeping her promise. The blueprints for the level 1 vehicle upgrade and inventory expansion. Green rank. I was genuinely shocked. That upgrade blueprint costs 100 points at the supply station for anyone with a level 1 vehicle. It was undoubtedly her most valuable item, and so she sent it instantly. Next, I checked the storage blueprint. 10 extra inventory slots requiring 10 metal blocks and 10 electronic parts. Absolutely perfect for my current situation. Basic 10-slot inventory was a massive headache, forcing me to juggle items every single time I opened crates. Not accept her vehicle upgrade blueprint. I needed it more. I told her to keep it and only took the storage. Incredibly grateful and promised to send me more blueprints later. That was when I asked the question burning in my mind. How did she get so many ultra-rare blueprints? She hesitated for a second before finally explaining it all to me. Silver rank talent was called the Scroll of the Divine Craftsman. Think about it for a moment. 1 guaranteed blueprint every day. I know what you are thinking, that is basically a cheat code. A totally broken skill. Barely 1 in 1,000 players ever sees a blueprint. She gets 1 guaranteed every day. I told her that talent was absolutely insane. To play it safe, I wanted to use my talent on the storage blueprint before crafting it. Better quality meant more slots, but I used up my daily charges. I could easily wait until tomorrow. Right at that moment, I started thinking very strategically about Xuanwan. Her talent probably scaled with her vehicle. Level 1 granted her green rank blueprints. If she reached level 2, would she get blue blueprints? Purple at level 3. Her upgrade was not simple charity, the direct investment to secure better loot. Then a wild idea crossed my mind. If her talent depended on her vehicle, what if she abandoned her van and joined me? Would her skill still trigger? And if she did, would they adapt to my vehicle's level? I absolutely had to test this theory out. But first, I needed to win her trust and secure those cores. I messaged her to find out what she needed for level 2. Only lacked the chassis blueprint. She had everything else. I was amazed she had gathered so much on her own. I offered her my spare chassis blueprint, but on one single condition. Tomorrow's blueprint would be mine, no matter its rank. He agreed instantly. Shortly after, a stranger messaged me. He had a vehicle core. My heart skipped a beat. 100 fuel units and the upgrade blueprint. Way too expensive. After bargaining, we closed the deal at 50 fuel units plus my level 1 vehicle blueprint. The only condition was that he tell me where he got the core. His answer chilled my blood. Ran into a player at a supply point who tried to play dirty, so he killed him. Mantling that guy's car dropped the core, meaning cores are only obtained by destroying other vehicles. Meant our only reliable source of cores was other humans. The game was literally forcing us to fight. Confirmed that players could cross paths in supply zones. The system's promise of encounters was a lethal reality. We made the trade and added each other. His name was Sue Kersinen. To buy any future cores from him. 1 core down, 1 to go for level 4. But stick with me, because another player just messaged me demanding way more. Alright, you and I are about to see how this guy literally demanded my level 1, level 2, and air conditioning blueprints absolute madness. Plus, I actually needed that level 2 blueprint myself. I was low on resources and we would talk later. Got super aggressive, asking if I was playing games. His tone gave me bad vibes, so I just ignored him completely. Strongly suspected he got his power core by taking down another player, even though he swore he found it in a special chest. Ignored his texts and got ready to rest. Now, pay close attention here, because this one rejection was about to put me in the sights of a deadly killer. Somewhere, a guy named Lu Ji Chiang stared at his screen with murderous intent, furious at my rejection. In this brutal world, monsters were not the only threat. Other survivors were far worse. Luckily, I already met all the requirements for the level 3 upgrade. I hit the button instantly. Them then ordered me to step away from my vehicle. Stepping out, I watched from the supply point as a blue glow enveloped my van. Minutes later, it finished. A sleek silver-grey van stood where the old white one used to be, inside to take a look. The interior transformation was absolutely incredible. Soft, comfortable seats replaced the basic ones. But the best part was the LED lights on the ceiling and doors. Spending 2 nights in pitch darkness inside the vehicle, having night lights felt like a true luxury. Even better, I could now monitor the outside at night. The dashboard was a massive touch control screen. A notification popped up. Map feature unlocked, showing terrain, obstacles, and crates within a 10-meter radius. Limited, but no more searching blindly by the road. Supply crates would now automatically show up right on my screen. Perfect for high-speed looting. Stats, level 3 van, max speed of 180 kilometers per hour. All my gear remained intact. Golden lucky pendant, blue engine, bulletproof glass, and an alloy chassis, orange nuclear reactor, and purple fridge. The speed, lights, and map were the best. Exhausted, I reclined my seat and drifted off. For the second night in a row, absolutely nothing attacked me. I slept soundly until 5:30. Pendant worked wonders keeping danger away, but I noticed a major downside. You and I both know that without monsters, there is no loot or meat to level up, so I have to hunt. I messaged Sue to check on her, and also enjoyed a peaceful night. Heard noises, but nothing attacked. Great, I reminded her to send over any blueprints she found today. Since she was level 2, it was highly likely her daily blueprint would be of much higher quality. My next goal was obvious. Find that second core and reach level 4. I hit the road at dawn. Outside it was already 32 degrees and rising. I wondered how many would survive without air conditioning. In the shop, that blueprint was not cheap. Many would have to choose between staying cool or upgrading their vehicle. Real dilemma. Luckily, The level 3 radar made searching for resources a whole lot easier. Instead of straining my eyes, crates appeared as yellow dots on the screen. Around 9 o'clock, the first dot appeared. A common crate in the grass containing 5 bottles of water, 3 metal sheets, and a knife. Basic items, but I finally understood the radar. Around 11:30, another dot guided me to a bronze chest, 5 cans of peaches, 5 electronic components, energy drinks, and a green tier greatsword. Both crates contained weapons today. Here the system was forcing us to be well armed. Outside it was 43 degrees. Stepping out for 5 minutes soaked you in sweat. Day 3 of 7 and already unbearable. Anyone without air conditioning was going to suffer terribly. After a short break, I kept driving. Less than a kilometer away, I reached a fork. Right there sat a wrecked starter van. Doors were wide open. No sign of players or monsters nearby. I checked my map. Absolutely nothing within 10 meters. Stepped out carefully and approached. As I drew closer, my bracelet vibrated. Ownerless vehicle detected. Dismantle. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Confirmed immediately without hesitation. Dismantling complete. Gained 1 vehicle core. I got my second core just like that. Someone had died or abandoned their ride, and I literally stumbled right into it. So much searching, trading, and stress, only for a random intersection to solve everything. Outside it was 45 degrees. I headed back inside to enjoy the AC. With both cores ready, you and I know level 4 is finally within reach. Hold on, because you and I are moving fast. Didn't expect that second core so soon. Let's see what level 4 requires. Everything was ready. Level 3 vehicle, engine, glass, chassis, and core. But then the system completely changed the game rules. I had to feed it basic materials, and that exact amount would determine the final quality of my new ride. The limit was 50 metal blocks and 30 of the rest. I checked my stash, but I was short on glass and rubber. I messaged Suan first, but she spent almost everything reaching level 2. I had scraps left over. So I contacted Sue Kersonen, the woman from my first trade. 1 glass, 3 rubber, and wanted metal. Done deal. Loaded every slot with materials and pressed upgrade. Level 4 process started. 30-minute wait time. Please step away from the vehicle. Under that scorching heat, a bright blue glow completely enveloped my silver truck. When it faded, a completely different beast emerged. A massive motorhome 6 meters long, 2.5 wide, and 3 high. It was an elegant silver white with smooth curves, but it looked incredibly imposing, like a true fortress on wheels. I walked up and saw no handles. I touched the panel, the door slid open. Door smart recognition, absolutely incredible. Pay attention here, because this is where it gets crazy. Stepping inside, cold air hit me, revealing a giant screen and swivel seats. And all that sat a double sofa with a small table and a full bathroom, compact kitchen with a sink, cabinets, and my integrated purple fridge. And in the back, a real bed. Spending 3 nights sleeping upright in a cramped seat, I almost cried from pure relief and emotion. Felt like returning to civilization, except for the running water. I checked the stats. Level 4 motorhome, top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. I kept all my previous equipment. Only new detail was a notice. Level 4 vehicles could now install weapons. To be honest, the upgrades weren't a huge deal. 20 kilometers per hour faster, and the option to add weapons. Interior was next level. Bed, bathroom, kitchen, full lighting, and panoramic windows with automatic smart curtains. No longer just a ride. It officially become my true home. I was still exploring when my bracelet vibrated. 3 global announcements popped up on the screen for everyone to see. First, a player reached level 4, unlocking a regional leaderboard of 60,000 drivers. Second, the game entered phase 2 with higher stakes. Third, hidden system updates were coming that we had to discover ourselves. The leaderboard immediately asked if I wanted to hide my identity, since I was sitting comfortably in first place. Hid my name fast. It makes you an easy target. Me on this, I think I was a second too late. Many saw my name before I hit it. Looking at the leaderboard, the gap was insane. 1,240 points. Second place, some guy named Lin Shun had 141 points. Third was Sophia with 132. The top 10 had level 2 vehicles, scoring between 111 and 141. I finally got the system. Orange items give 10,000 points, gold gives 1,000, purple gives 100, and blue gear grants 10. My nuclear reactor alone was worth 10,000 points. Gold charm added 1,000, and my 2 purple items added 200. The rest was from my blue gear. Others barely had green or blue stuff. I was light years ahead of everyone else. Didn't check the global chat, but apparently it literally blew up. Called me a cheater, begged to team up, or shamelessly offered to join me as travel companions. Many couldn't believe the massive gap. Others warned of real danger. Phase 2 brought lethal threats while everyone was still dying of heat. Since I never talked in chat and blocked strangers after that Lu Jijiang incident, nobody could track me. Even those who managed to memorize my name before I hit it had no way of sending me direct messages. Honestly, I was way more focused on the new game updates anyway. Phase 2 and the weapon option for level 4 vehicles forced me to find guns for my motorhome immediately. With massive threats heading my way, having real firepower on my ride was going to be a matter of life or death. Comfortable house is great, but comfort won't save me in phase 2. I needed weapons while everyone in chat kept gossiping about number 1. Smiled for a second and swiped the screen shut. That abandoned van I found was a constant reminder. People die daily, and being number 1 means nothing if you end up dead. It was almost 3 in the afternoon. Remembered today's supply crates. Both contained melee weapons, a knife, and a green sword. I checked the trading market and confirmed my suspicions. Melee weapons were completely flooding the platform. Some arms everyone, but no firearms. You and I know surviving without long-range weapons is going to be pure madness. All right! You and I both know this is bad news. More weapons meant players would start killing each other. Monsters were no longer the only threat. Human greed would become just as deadly. Leaning back, I assessed my situation. My stronghold was a level 4 motorhome, the only one here. Top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. Unlimited energy, comfortable space, and unlocked weapon slots. A purple-grade pistol with infinite ammo and perfect aim. The downsides. There were 4, and they were bad. First, this massive motorhome is a giant target. If monsters or rivals attacked, I would be easy prey. Second, no weapons installed yet. Level 4 unlocked the upgrade slots, but they remained completely empty. Third, and this really hurt, water. Only had 14 bottles left. Good for drinking, useless for anything else. The vehicle had a full kitchen, sink, and shower, but nothing worked without a steady water supply. After sweating for 3 days in over 40 degrees, I was completely covered in dry salt and grime. Craving a shower was physically painful now. Fourth, my own combat skills were still extremely weak. Sure, the shooting manual helped, but I was still just an office worker with physical stats of 11. To survive real threats, I had to grow. The vehicle was fine, but I needed weapons, water, defense, and power. Those 4 problems would take work. Spent almost everything reaching level 4. Everything was gone. My trade reserves were dry, and phase 2 promised worse horrors. I could not just stand there admiring my ride. I grabbed the wheel and hit the gas. Time to search for supply crates. It was 3 in the afternoon. With about 4 hours of daylight left, I turned left. Lucky charm did not react this time. 30 minutes later, a yellow dot popped up on my virtual map. Looking through the window, I saw the crate in the grass, but a bright green snake coiled next to it. Now pay attention here, because actual monsters are now guarding the crates along the road. Phase 2 was already changing the rules. Grabbed my pistol, rolled down the window, and aimed from 200 meters. One shot, perfect hit. My firearms mastery was absolutely insane. Hands did not shake at all. Precision felt almost supernatural. I got out, dismantled the body, and gathered 2 common meats. Basic food to recover energy once cooked. Then I opened the chest. Instant noodles, fermented tofu, 5 metal blocks, and corn seeds. Yes, actual seeds. Game wanted us to farm, not overthink it. 40 minutes later, another yellow dot appeared. This time, something far more disturbing was crouching right next to the chest. It was a hunched humanoid 1 meter tall with wrinkled grey skin, sharp claws, and red eyes. Movie goblin. Another shot to the head. Instant death. When I tried to dismantle the corpse, the system rejected it. Mutant body detected, unable to dismantle. So yeah, not every monster is going to drop useful materials. The chest contained 8 electronic components, 6 rubber, tomato seeds, and a green-grade bow, another ranged weapon. Useless since I had a gun. It was 5:10, and outside was a deadly 45 degrees of heat. I know what you are thinking. Single supply crate guarded by monsters now. Well, yes, without my weapon and perfect aim, I would have to fight hand-to-hand in 45-degree heat. Who survives that? The chat filled with desperate cries, and the player count plummeted. I could not save them. We all started in the same place. I just got luckier with my talent. That is the harsh reality. I promised myself to survive until the end for my parents and me. Putting aside the negativity, I cooked a proper meal. For the first time, I used the onboard kitchen. No running water, but the bottled stuff worked. Boiled noodles with the snake meat and spices, and grilled a nice thick wolf steak, blue grade with my talent first, obviously. And tear up, bigger upgrades later. Sitting on my sofa at 24 degrees, eating soup and meat while 45 degrees scorched the outside world. Contrast was surreal. This simple meal did more for my sanity than everything else these past few days. The intense pressure of the last 3 days finally faded. After cleaning up, my bracelet suddenly began to vibrate. Wan sent me an offer, a green metal armor blueprint to boost the vehicle's defense. Her talent just saved us again. She eagerly messaged about her skills. Soon we will get a blue tier blueprint. Come along with me for this wild story, because relying on a hunch is crazy, but she swears it wasn't her talent. She mentioned she was almost out of crossbow bolts. She only had 3 left because monsters guarded every supply box. No spares, but promised to send some if I found any. With dinner ready and the blueprint secured, I had 4 talent charges left. It was time to make the absolute most of them. I upgraded the Tang sword, jumped 2 ranks straight to purple, becoming an ultra-sharp, armor-piercing blade. Now it completely ignored a portion of enemy armor, a true beast of a melee weapon. The bow also jumped 2 ranks to purple, becoming the cloud-piercing bow, featuring rapid fire and 1-meter auto-aim, the perfect gift for Su Wanwan and her scarce bolts. The warehouse expansion blueprint upgraded to blue, offering 20 slots instead of 10, 20 metal blocks, and 20 electronic components. Metal plate blueprint upgraded to blue, transforming into an alloy armor plate capable of blocking small arms gunfire. Metal blocks expensive, but upgrading the vehicle defense was absolutely crucial. 2 purple weapons and 2 blue blueprints. With my talent charges gone, I stored everything away and collapsed onto the sofa, feeling pretty frustrated. So both weapons hit purple rank with insane stats, but to me they were almost useless. The Tang sword was a melee weapon and I was just an office worker, not a swordsman. Plus the bow had no arrows. Meanwhile, the blueprints I actually needed only went up a miserable single tier, and I had no materials to craft them. I drew the Tang sword just to admire it. Nearly 1 meter long, dark silver with a matte finish, a true beauty. Every guy dreams of wielding a legendary blade, but in my hands it was just decoration. Put it away. At 10 p.m. darkness fell. Threw myself onto the back bed of the RV, my first real mattress. It felt like absolute heaven. Nights of sleeping upright in a cramped seat. I knocked out. Sounds woke me up at 10:31 p.m. It was lurking outside, dragging its claws along the ground. I quietly crawled to the driver's seat and peeked out carefully. Outside, pitch black. I waited an hour as they drew near. Now pay attention here, this tension was absolutely unbearable. They reached the RV. Shooting them through the windows from that close would be almost impossible. No idea if blue-grade panels would survive a real assault. Turned on absolutely every light inside and out. Blinding white headlights cut the dark, lighting up 10 meters around the vehicle. My blood ran completely cold. 20 meters away, 10 canine monsters formed a tight semicircle, massive beasts with dirty fur, blue-gray skin, and drooling fangs. Their eyes glowed an eerie green under the light. Every single one of them locked onto my vehicle. The moment the light hit them, the leader growled and they charged. I slid the window open, aimed my gun and fired. Shot after shot, landing clean headshots. In less than 1 minute, all 10 collapsed before even touching the vehicle. In sweat and gasping for air, suddenly boom. A massive impact shook the entire cabin. Something had slammed into the back. Rushed to the center of the RV to peer through the window. A giant beast nearly 2 meters tall was mercilessly ramming the rear. The glass and emptied my last 5 bullets straight into its skull. I used 15 bullets, and this gun recharges 1 shot per hour. Put yourself in my shoes. What would you do? Slumped onto the couch, completely exhausted, staring at the ceiling and praying the nightmare outside was finally over. Midnight was approaching, the most dangerous hour. Ammo, I had to assess the damage before things got worse. Unsheathed the upgraded Tang sword, the very weapon I had mocked as useless just a few hours ago. Never thought I would need you so soon, I muttered. Stepping out into the thick, humid air, the smell of blood was overwhelming. Dead monsters lay scattered along the road. Immediately headed to the rear where the giant beast had attacked. The damage made my stomach turn. A deep dent, peeled paint, bent metal, and hideous claw marks covering the panel. More hits and the blue reinforced wall would have shattered, leaving me defenseless against certain death. I approached the corpse of the massive beast to harvest resources. Meters tall, heavily muscled, with 5 bullet wounds to the head. It looked dead, so I reached out my hand. Suddenly, it snapped its head up. Green eyes glowing with fury as it lunged to bite my face. It was playing dead. Instinct saved me, throwing me backward. Jaws missed my face but tore into my shoulder, shredding my clothes and sinking deep into my flesh. Blood splattered everywhere. Blinding pain hit me as I stumbled back against the vehicle, completely cornered. Bleeding and shaking stick with me to see if we can actually survive this madness. Get ready, because you and I are about to watch a massive beast stalking our main character, claws aimed right for his head. Forget bravery, this was pure survival instinct. I dodged to the side and gripped that tang sword with everything I had, blocking out the agonizing pain in my shoulder, and drove it straight into the beast's throat with all my strength. Full-grade blades sliced through it like paper. Armor-piercing effect was the real deal. The monster thrashed violently, clawing up the RV and screeching in agonizing pain. Into the weapon, gritting my teeth as a mix of our blood completely soaked my body. Moments later, it collapsed. Finally dead, let go of the blade and slid down the RV wall, clutching my mangled shoulder as adrenaline made me shake uncontrollably. 1 second later, and those fangs would have torn my head off. I slumped against the vehicle, bleeding out from my shattered shoulder. Pay close attention here, because we have just 1 minute left until midnight, when my talent charges finally reset. Rolled over and touched the beast just in time. Boss class corpse detected. Yes, minutes of blue quality hound meat. With no time to lose, I dragged myself inside and collapsed. The wound was horrific. Skin was shredded and moving was absolute torture. The blue meat, it granted 1 permanent stat point per unit, just like the wolf meat. Having 30 units was great, but right now, I desperately needed something stronger. Midnight struck. My 5 daily charges refreshed. Without a second thought, I used 1 on the blue meat. It jumped up 2 ranks to gold quality. The new description practically stopped my heart. Gold meat permanently increases physical stats by 100 points, packed with the pure energy of vital transformation. The effect diminishes with repeated use. If the normal human limit is 20, 1 bite gives me 100. Not a simple upgrade, it was pure evolution. And shook, no longer from pain but absolute awe. Dragged myself to the kitchen, cooked the meat in a rush, and choked it down before it was even ready. As I swallowed, a wave of intense heat flooded my body, instantly turned incredibly violent. Energy erupted like a volcano, smashing through every cell, bone, and vessel. Felt like being tossed into a furnace while 1,000 needles stabbed me. My bleeding shoulder suddenly stopped. Right before my eyes, the torn flesh began closing up and healing at an insane speed as raw strength surged. He faded into an overwhelming tingle. A massive rush of energy was too much, totally overloading my mind. I know what you are thinking, but my vision went completely black as my body underwent a superhuman transformation. Faint golden glow radiated from my skin as I lay unconscious on the floor of the motorhome, silently changing while the world outside slept. I woke up at 8:45 after 8 hours of deep, restful sleep. The very first thing I noticed was 0 pain. The shoulder, shredded by fangs just hours ago, was completely healed. Not even a scar. It felt smooth, firm, and way softer than it ever had before. I got up and walked straight to the bathroom mirror. The person looking back was a complete stranger. Gone was the pale, tired-looking office worker. In his place stood someone with an incredibly ripped, defined physique. Lean, toned muscles proportioned like an elite athlete. Even my face had changed, with every single wrinkle completely gone. Skin was glowing and my eyes looked sharp. I looked 10 years younger, like a kid of 18 or 19. 100 physical stats does. It is not just power, it is a rebirth. My status read 112. My mind hit 20 points, the absolute human limit. A nice bonus that stacked perfectly with my advanced shooting mastery. I washed up using a single water bottle, stiff with dried blood and filth. Cleaning up, I only had a pair of shorts left to wear. Nothing fancy, but at least I was clean. The wheel to figure out my next moves. First, water. Only 10 bottles left and no sources nearby. Even an upgraded body would fail within 2 days without hydration. Second on the list was close quarters combat training. I only survived that massive beast last night through dumb luck and a sharp blade, not real fighting skills. 112 stats, my reflexes and power shatter limits. Raw strength without technique is just wasted danger. I had to learn how to fight. Third on the priority list was the blueprint for the alloy armor. If I had that gear ready last night, I would never have risked my life out there, but it needed 50 metal blocks, and that is where we leave it. But trust me, you and I will want to see what he gets from decomposing those 10 fallen beasts. Stick with me, they had completely vanished into thin air. No bodies, no blood, nothing. And was spotless, as if a fight never happened. I was furious. Those bodies would have fetched hundreds of supply station points, but complaining was completely pointless. The real prize, that golden meat that boosted my body, was already inside me. I sighed, started the engine, and drove off. A new day, an upgraded body, and 1,000 problems to solve. I drove for 20 minutes without seeing a single crate. The trading market was still the same, mostly food, water, and basic melee weapons. No blueprints worth mentioning. Then, a direct message from Sue Kirsanen popped up. I have a team scroll. Help me, and it is yours. I checked the stats immediately. It was a special item to invite players to your team. Once accepted, the other player and their vehicle would instantly teleport right to your location, regardless of the region. In a world where you can drive for days without seeing anyone else, something like this was priceless. She wanted a weapon, preferably ranged, so I checked my inventory. The pistol was out. It was my most valuable gear. The piercing tang sword just saved my life and was crucial for melee combat with my physical strength at 112. The only option left was the purple cloud-piercing bow, which had auto-aim but no arrows. I offered her the sword or the bow, and she chose the bow instantly. She already had arrows. Done deal. The scroll was mine. And you need to watch closely, because this opened up endless possibilities. The power to summon someone and their vehicle right to my side. Instantly, one specific person came to mind, Swan Wan. Her talent generated a brand new blueprint every single day. She already gave me blueprints for upgraded tires, cargo expansion, and armor. Exactly what I needed. Having her physically by my side would make everything insanely efficient. No waiting or trading delays. Direct daily blueprints to upgrade my ride. But I held back. Building real trust takes time. Not even know if she wanted to join me. And I was not risking everything for a chat friend. So the scroll stayed put. Maybe soon. Besides, my senses were already on a completely different level. As I drove, I noticed the slightest rustle in the distant grass and every tiny pebble. Everything was sharp and clear. 30 minutes later, a supply crate appeared by the roadside, guarded by a mutated beast. Instead of wasting ammo, I unsheathed my piercing tang sword, stepped out shirtless, and walked straight toward the beast. As it lunged right at me, everything seemed to slow down completely. Calmly taking a step aside, I delivered a single slash. It sliced through its neck like hot butter. The whole fight took under 3 seconds. Then at the bisected monster on the ground. This is what physical strength of 112 feels like. Crazy, right? Slicing beasts was now easier than chopping vegetables. The crate held 5 bottles of water, 5 glass sheets, and 10 fuel units. The mutant left behind absolutely nothing. Just like before, I drove on. 11:30 a.m. It was 46 degrees outside. Another chest appeared, guarded by 2 mutants. I stepped out with my sword, and the first beast lunged. I dodged, splitting it right in half. It leaped from behind, and without even turning around, reversed my grip and impaled its skull. 5 seconds and both of them were dead. The bronze chest contained 10 metal blocks, 5 electronic components, snacks, and a green workbench blueprint. The blueprint description was a bit weird. It added an alarm system notifying your bracelet if your ride got hit. Felt pretty useless though, since I already spent nearly all my time resting inside the car. Maybe it would help at night to detect surprise attacks while sleeping, so I stored it away. Inside, I popped open a can of iced peaches and grabbed a cold drink from the fridge, chilling at noon in 46-degree heat while eating cold fruit. An absolute luxury. I stared at my hands. 3 monsters wiped out this morning without even breaking a sweat. No fear, no effort, just pure absolute power. Feeling this incredible power, completely belonging to my own body, was the best sensation since arriving in this world. As I drove, I was browsing the market when something froze me in my tracks. Blue water condenser blueprint. 10 liters of drinking water daily once installed on any level 2 vehicle. The seller wanted 1,000 fuel units. Impossible. But trust me, you and I know finding water was my absolute priority, because you and I are about to see how my talent upgrades this condenser to get infinite water for drinking, cooking, and showering. I messaged the seller to negotiate, but her instant reply completely froze me. There was absolutely no need to talk about prices at all. I will give it to you for free. Number 1 on the global vehicle leaderboard, right? Just let us join your team and take this as our fee. How on earth did they know who I was? Turns out, when the rankings went live, she saw my name before I hid it, and she remembered my profile pic while searching for vehicle cores. So she connected the dots. Turned out they were twin sisters named Linchi and Lenu. Both had highly useful silver rank talents. One, called Twin Bond, boosted an ally's talent for 10 minutes, usable 3 times a day, and Lotus generated extra loot when opening supply crates, also 3 times daily. Both talents were perfectly designed to support a teammate. Combined with my mythical rule breaker talent, the potential was absolutely insane. But I hesitated, was saving a team scroll for Swanwan, and trusting strangers with my life felt way too risky, and sent me a description that changed everything. Shared destiny, special binding contract. Once active, anyone could instantly teleport the others, including their vehicles. But the catch was brutal. If someone died, survivors lost 50% of their stats. Last survivor lost 99%. Others were already linked and offered to bind me to that same contract as well. Meant they couldn't betray me without destroying themselves. You can trust us with this, Lynn wrote. Just want to survive. Wouldn't join anyone else. Contract was the ultimate guarantee of absolute loyalty. Told them I would reply tonight and accepted Lou's friend request. Needed time to think. Their talents were incredible, but accepting them meant giving up Swanwan's team scroll. Big decisions require calm. I stopped my caravan and spent 2 full hours weighing all the pros and cons. Lynn's offer was incredible: the condenser blueprint, 2 silver port talents, and guaranteed absolute loyalty. That original shared destiny contract genuinely terrified me. One died, I lost half my attributes. Both died, I lost 99%, leaving me with nothing. The real danger in this world wasn't the monsters. It was trusting my life to strangers. One mistake, a second of panic or betrayal, and we'd all plunge into the abyss. But think about it with me, the more I analyzed it, the clearer it became that benefits outweighed risks. The twin support, the blueprints, and my mythical skill, my growth would be unstoppable. Playing it safe meant losing. In this game, standing still was a slow death sentence. I made up my mind and messaged Lou. I will join you. I was thrilled, but I set one condition: they had to send me the shared destiny contract first. I wanted to activate it myself to verify it was real, and more importantly, I wanted to test something special. Liu handed it over without hesitation or any conditions. Didn't even accept the Tang's sword I offered as collateral. The moment I had the contract, I used my talent on it. Rule Breaker triggered a massive 2-rank upgrade. Shared Destiny mutated into Shared Life and Death. This upgraded version was completely different. Negative effects vanished. Now it allowed teleporting allies and vehicles once a day, regardless of the environment. Group bonus: each additional team member increased the base stats of everyone by 10%. The death penalty was completely reversed, no penalties. If anyone died, survivors gained 30% stats for 1 hour, and the last standing got 100%. The team limit rose from 3 to 8 members, adding a sole contract to punish any traitors. Though the details were unclear, I stared at the screen in amazement. The contract that previously felt like a death sentence was now the most broken team tool imaginable. No downsides, only buffs, and the betrayal clause offered protection. This changed everything, so I activated it. When Linchi, Lenu, and I officially registered, I felt a massive surge of power. The boost was already working. I messaged Liu, activated teleportation, and a bright light flashed 10 meters away. Air vibrated as their truck materialized out of nowhere, and before they got out, I heard an excited voice. We actually teleported with the entire car. It was Lenu, the younger sister. Trust me, things are about to get brutal. Alright, you and I are about to dive into a crazy survival story. The moment I stepped out of my RV, a huge surprise was waiting. 19-year-old twins with identical, delicate faces, yet their vibes were completely opposite. Just look at Linu, with her high ponytail, bright eyes, and an incredible burst of energy. Her older sister, Linchi, had long hair and a shy aura, but Linu immediately started getting on my nerves. Called me indecent just for wearing shorts. But honestly, she couldn't keep her eyes off my luxury vehicle, and I don't blame her. I was absolutely amazed the moment she felt the ice-cold air inside my truck. Complaining about their own broken AC, she immediately started snooping around, checking out my kitchen and bathroom. It was hilarious watching her squeal over the shower while desperately trying to be polite and not touch anything. Meanwhile, Lynchy just sat quietly on the sofa, looking incredibly polite, silent and reserved. And when I sat beside her, forgetting I was shirtless, the air grew incredibly tense. Linu instantly jumped right between us to protect her. Right in the middle of our contract drama, she warned me not to get any weird ideas with her sister, making Lynchy blush completely red. She quietly begged her to shut up. Feeling awkward about the whole situation, I decided to move over to the driver's seat. Things got serious fast. Her expression completely changed as she started asking deep questions about our agreement. Our stats jumped by 30% when we allied, but that weird clause about traitors still made them highly suspicious. Honestly, I didn't have answers either. In the old pact, the death of any member was brutally punished. The new version rewarded loyalty, but pay close attention here. How it actually worked was still an absolute mystery. They initially agreed because the old penalty was so severe that betrayal meant instant, certain death. With the rules changing to something so vague, they had serious doubts about what would keep us loyal. To relax and drop the formalities, suggesting they just call me by my name or big brother. Linu gave me a look of pure skepticism, joking that I seemed more like a middle-aged uncle instead. Her sister scolded her for being so rude, looking curious. When I asked how they stayed so clean, things got interesting. Look at them closely. They definitely didn't look like people who had been surviving outdoors for days on end. Their clothes and faces were flawless, while I looked like a messy caveman standing there in basic shorts. Lynchy calmly explained that their special skills always guaranteed them plenty of food along with fresh, clean water. Sounds a bit too easy, right? My next question completely shifted the mood for both of us. All the joy vanished from Linu's face as she stepped closer to her terrified sister. They had suffered too much. Lynchy softly added that she would never, under any circumstance, let her sister face that kind of danger again. And that was the exact moment I brought up our most sensitive topic, yet a brand new contract. Linu tensed up immediately. She might act scatterbrained, but she knew the previous deal prevented any possible betrayal. The new clause was just too vague, offering no clear penalties for any kind of disloyal behavior. Plenty of reasons to doubt me. Then she decided to break the ice. She said the past was behind them, hoping for good teamwork. That is when I laid down my rules. I wouldn't force them into useless tasks or put them in danger, keeping them perfectly safe at all times. In exchange, they'll be under my absolute command. Control all resources, including their own truck. Level 4 vehicle was vastly superior. Hearing that, both of them nodded immediately. Linu excitedly raised her hand to swear obedience. Lynchy handed me a water condenser blueprint before heading back to their truck. Just call us if you need anything at all. Leaving the RV, Linu tried complaining about the strict terms, but her sister shut her up with a cold glare. After all, they were getting the protection of the region's strongest player. As for me, I secured 2 highly valuable support talents and extremely useful daily blueprints. Trust would come later. Clear rules were enough. 3:45 p.m. and 46 degrees outside. Ordered them to follow exactly 5 meters behind. No overtaking, no lagging. We finally hit the road. I took the lead while they followed. 40 minutes later, our map revealed a chest guarded by 2 mutants. Stopping the car, I ordered them to stay inside and stepped out with my sword. The suffocating heat didn't bother me. Stick with me until the very end to watch how my insane power wiped them out in seconds. Alright, stick with me here, because instead of opening that chest right away, I decided to take it back to my RV. Lynchy's talent directly upgrades loot when she opens it. I was not going to waste that, so we kept up the grind, stop, kill, loot, and repeat. Spent the whole afternoon doing that, while the twins watched us closely from their truck. Can you imagine their shock seeing me slice through monsters like wet paper? In the evening, total darkness completely surrounded us and told them to stay close to me for safety. That night, I secured 3 valuable supply chests, 1 iron, 1 bronze, and 1 common. It was finally time to test the special power of the twins. I invited them inside and placed the chests on the table. Linu buffed Lynchy, who opened all 3 at once. Results were absolutely brutal. Got 30 metal blocks, 50 fuel, 18 plastic, 10 rubber, 10 electronic parts, 10 kilos of rice, 12 eggs, beer, cigarettes, and 2 green blueprints, atomic radar, and bulletproof glass. These basic resources far exceeded anything I used to gather all on my own. Pay attention here, because getting 2 blueprints from 3 chests is insane. I never had this kind of luck. Your abilities are incredibly useful, I told them. Liu smiled with immense pride and nodded excitedly. Of course, my sister and I are the ultimate duo, she bragged, and she was right. With their loot buffs and my skills, we were unstoppable. Whip up a quick meal when Linji spoke up in a shy, incredibly soft voice. Blushing, she asked if she could handle the cooking. She used to do it back home, and Liu immediately backed her up enthusiastically. My sister's food is amazing. You will never forget it, she promised. So I stepped aside and handed the kitchen over to her, opened the fridge, checked everything without questioning the massive interior space, and got to work right away. The movements were swift and elegant. She clearly had years of experience running a kitchen. She made roasted meat, a dish of fresh eggs, and white rice. Simple ingredients using basic seasonings for flavor. The result was the best feast since my arrival here. Liu almost cried tears of joy tasting the hot rice. Real food at last. The three of us enjoyed dinner inside the cool and comfortable camper van. Warm, almost normal moment right in the middle of the apocalypse. You are the cook now, I told Linji, who blushed with a smile. You and I saw this coming, right? After dinner, they shyly asked if they could bathe after 5 long days. I understood completely, but I had not built the water condenser yet. I'm sorry, it is not possible tonight. And after building it, gathering water would take time. Linji immediately offered her own materials to help craft it quickly. She was also dying to take a bath, even though she was the quietest one. Suggested they rest for now. Need Liu's upgrade later, and I had a lot to plan. In the wheel and closed my eyes to strategize. I had 3 talent charges left today, and my second skill had finally finished its 72-hour cooldown. I had plenty of blueprints ready. Blue-grade space expansion and the alloy armor already had an active upgrade, ready to be crafted and upgraded again, along with 6 additional green blueprints. Vehicle windows, motor workbench, radar, bulletproof glass, and the blue condenser, plus the blue beast meat. Single portion upgraded to gold rank would grant me 100 physical stat points. If I used my 3 rank jump to elevate it to orange quality, the result would be unimaginable. Every talent charge was vital. Linz watched me silently from the sofa, not daring to interrupt. In my eyes, decision made. It was time to spend my last 3 charges. I asked Liu to activate her buff on me. Her twin connection talent would boost my crafting effects for 10 minutes. I had to move fast. First target, the alloy armor. I had exactly 59 metal blocks for the blue blueprint. Instantly upgraded it to purple fortress armor. Withstands standard firearms, direct impacts, cuts, and explosive shrapnel. I installed it immediately, transforming my camper van into a walking tank. Next step was the green bulletproof glass blueprint. I upgraded it to blue rank. Tempered glass, ultra resistant to heavy impacts, light weapons, and explosions. 25 glass and 2 metal to craft. I would build it later. 2 single rank upgrades done. Even with use buff, that 30% double upgrade chance did not trigger. So frustrating. Condenser. I crafted it using the blue rank blueprint and activated my talent. Right at that moment, something truly incredible happened. And trust me, that 5% miracle actually happened thanks to Liu's power. Absolutely insane. Shipped straight from blue to orange quality. Just obtained an atmospheric water extractor. What is up? Get ready because you and I are diving into total madness, 25 attempts for a 3-tier upgrade. It is pretty ironic that this upgrade landed on a water purifier instead of a weapon, but the result was incredible. Its molecular condensation technology literally pulls water right out of thin air, no matter how terrible the weather is outside. Production scales with energy input featuring a built-in purifier, a smart recycler, and a 10 cubic meter tank. Sure, the power consumption is insane, but with my infinite energy nuclear reactor, that cost meant absolutely nothing. Now I had unlimited water. Installed it immediately, and the control panel screen showed the new power switch. Turned it on. Steady, endless flow. I looked at the twins and smiled they could finally take a bath. Water is on the way. Who jumped with excitement, asking if they could really bathe, while Lynn tried to stay realistic. The normal condenser only makes 10 liters a day. Isn't that wasteful? Don't worry about water. I told them, take your time. No idea how it was possible, but the look on my face warned them it was better not to ask. Lou's eyes sparkled as she ran for clean clothes, already calling me big brother instead of boss after 5 showerless days. Tonight, all 3 of us would be clean. While Lou grabbed her things, Linji apologized for her sister's hyperactive attitude. I told her not to worry. If they cooperated with me, they would receive far more than they ever imagined. I also shared my contract theory. Under those terms, companions could not physically harm one another, seemed to calm the tension. When they returned, I sent them to bathe while I sat at the wheel to do business. Now pay attention here, because after days of dust, sweat and blood, the running water finally brought some peace. While waiting, I got a message from Swan 1, found a blueprint for a green condenser, and thought it would help. Smiled arrogantly. Already have a much better one, so keep it for yourself. Was shocked and asked how I got it so fast. Changed the subject to check on her, and her reply worried me. The daytime heat made her dizzy, and now monsters guarded every supply crate. She was alone and had no combat talent. She was having a rough time, and write to me if things got too critical, considering inviting her to our team, but I had not fully made that difficult decision yet. Twin stepped out completely transformed, clean clothes, damp hair, rosy cheeks, and sparkling eyes. They looked like different people, thanked me, and went back to their vehicle for the night. And then it was finally my turn. In clothes on the market and took a shower, feeling hot water after 5 long days. The dirt, dried blood, salt, and tension washed away. For a few minutes, I stopped being just a survivor in a deadly game. You and I both know that feeling. I was just a guy taking a shower, enjoying the most peaceful moment in this world. In clothes, a washed body, a warm vehicle, rising water reserves, and impenetrable armor plating protecting my truck. I sat behind the steering wheel, watching the tank fill up on the screen, and felt something I had forgotten, true calm. Exactly 9:18 in the evening, my second skill, the triple jump with its 72-hour cooldown, finally came back online. I knew exactly how to use it. Blue dog meat from that boss monster I killed last night. Blue rank item would jump 3 levels straight to orange. The meat mutated into the Heart of Tai Sui. Description blew my mind. 1,000 physical points and a passive iron body. It drastically increases physical defense and resistance by 1,000 points. My base physical stat was only 112. This would boost it past 1,100. Without hesitation, I swallowed it whole. A warm, gentle energy flowed through my entire body, completely unlike the violent explosion of the golden meat. It felt strangely peaceful. In fact, my consciousness separated from my body, almost as if I were watching myself from the outside, not move a single muscle. My last thought before blacking out was, oh no, not again. What if monsters show up while I am out cold? The twins are right behind me in their truck. Then everything went dark. I did not know it at the time, but the twins were talking about me while resting in their own truck. You could not understand how I got so much water when the condenser only made 10 liters daily. Lynn assumed it was my talent and dropped it. Then Lynn raised a much more disturbing dilemma. Realized they had trusted me way too quickly, which was highly unusual. She suspected the life or death contract was messing with their emotions. That clause about traveling the same path and sharing one heart might not be just a bit of poetic writing, and that is where we leave them whispering their oath. And I are definitely going to want to see what happens next. Alright, you and I are about to watch things get wild at 11 p.m. as beasts circle while I pass out in a running car. The twins spotted shadows moving in the deep darkness beyond the headlights, but those beasts never actually dared to step closer. They surrounded us from a distance, growling in what sounded like absolute fear. Something in the car or deep inside me kept them away. Woke up at 4:09 a.m. My transformation was complete. New level. I could hear the twins breathing softly, even through the tightly closed doors. Tiny pebbles 100 meters away in pitch black darkness, feeling even the slightest shift in the wind. I checked my stats. Physical 1,445, mental 26, passive skill iron body. Issued a warning. My mental stat was just too low to control this brutal physical power, and so my internal energy felt absolutely devastating. I didn't sit still, so I stepped outside to test my limits. Crouching down, I launched myself. The asphalt cracked as I shot forward like a bullet, leaving a blurry trail behind. Next up was high jumping. Single leap shot me 30 meters up, revealing the ruined world stretched out below, sprinting and leaping through the shadows, testing exactly what my newly upgraded physical body could actually do. Now pay close attention, this is where this insane power completely shattered all my expectations. I headed back, dusted myself off, and took the wheel pumped with adrenaline. wishing monsters would attack so I could fight. With strength like this, I was no longer ordinary. Meanwhile, the twins had been completely terrified all night long. Over, they told me dozens of beasts had been circling the trucks for hours. They growled in the dark but never struck. It wasn't just my lucky charm, my body radiated a massive aura that repelled them, and the monsters feared me now. Then, at 6 in the morning, the system broadcasted a massive global announcement. Supply crates would no longer spawn on the open roads. Instead, random public zones would appear with way more valuable rewards inside. This only meant one single thing. Running into other survivors was now inevitable. I immediately gathered the twins to establish some super strict rules. Once we enter the public zone, stay right by my side. No wandering off or making decisions. Follow my orders exactly. Lynn suggested cooking breakfast before setting off. After last night's hot meal, nobody wanted dry, cold emergency rations. Slurping down noodles, I analyzed my setup. Infinite water, God-tier strength, and the absolute best vehicle on the planet. You and I both know what's missing: higher mental stats and real answers about this crazy game. Phase 3, public zones and more rivals. Everything was changing fast. Hit the road at 6:50 a.m. Just 15 minutes after we started driving, Lenu sent me a direct message, completely losing his mind. My overall score had jumped from 11,240 to 21,340 overnight. Reason: purple tier fortress armor and the orange purifier unit I had installed just the night before. Orange grade parts worth 10,000 points each. Seriously, my vehicle's current setup made me look like a literal god. Talisman, blue engine, blue bulletproof glass, and a blue alloy chassis, orange nuclear reactor, purple smart fridge, orange water collector, and purple armor. The global chat was absolutely melting down over my score, with players screaming about glitches and demanding immediate answers. No one believed anyone could rack up points this fast. I looked and muted the chat entirely. Drove straight for 3 full hours until I spotted something on the horizon that completely froze my blood. Bones, collapsed buildings, crushed cars, and heavy debris completely covering the entire area. Dead metropolis stretching as far as the eye could see. Confirmed, we found a public zone. City of rusted waste, 10,000 square kilometers of apocalyptic ruins packed with high-tier loot. Warning: those infected by the black mist are everywhere here. High risk, but the rewards are going to be brutal. 10,000 square kilometers is absolutely massive, larger than most real cities, with totally unknown enemies lurking inside. Watching the apocalypse in movies is one thing, but standing before a real ruined civilization, truly mind-blowing. Deathly silence, the sheer scale of the devastation, the crushing weight of what used to be a thriving home, gave me chills. He warned the twins not to leave my side for any reason at all. Pulled up to the edge. Trust me, you and I are about to witness a brutal clash against monsters and survivors alike. We have to move step by step to explore the ruins of this dark, desolate wasteland. Let's explore this ruined city together, with my armored truck leading the way and the twins following right behind. Deep potholes littered the cracked roads, and the further we went, the darker it got, blocking out the sun like an eternal twilight. Suddenly, I spotted the tallest skyscraper looming near the city center. Reaching the top would give me a clear view of the entire 10,000-kilometer area. But after 20 minutes of driving, we hit a massive problem. This city was absolutely massive, and those crucial supply crates could literally be hidden anywhere, under rubble or high up in skyscrapers. 10-meter radar was useless, and driving blind made absolutely no sense. Just then, I noticed a ruined supermarket on the right, only a few stories high and surprisingly intact, perfect for a quick search on foot. Grabbed my sharp sword and gave them a direct order. Do not step more than 1 meter away from me. We crossed the shattered entrance and walked straight into absolute darkness. Stench hit us instantly. Mold, dust, and rot. Overturned shelves and old trash scattered everywhere. Everything was decaying. With every step, the shadows grew thicker and darker. The terrified twins clung tightly to my shirt, shaking with fear. "It's so dark," Lou whispered. "Stay close," I replied, as my enhanced senses allowed me to see perfectly through the thick gloom. Every corner, shadow, and detail was crystal clear to my upgraded eyes. "Now," Now, watch closely, because 3 deformed grey-skinned monsters with sharp claws suddenly leaped right out of the dark mist, lunged straight at us as the twins froze in terror. 3 swift slashes of my sword were enough. 3 heads rolled across the floor before the bodies even hit the ground. Black blood splattered everywhere, over in a single second. Linshi and Linu stood speechless, trying to process the absolute carnage. "Let us head back," I said, ignoring the corpses. "There is nothing useful here." We stepped back into the daylight, and the pale girls finally let out a long sigh. They were convinced they were going to die. But it all happened so fast they barely had time to panic. That market was a complete waste of time. No chests. No useful loot. These small spots just are not worth the effort. Looked up at the massive skyscraper dominating the skyline. Since the small buildings are empty, we are heading straight to the core. Real jackpot had to be inside that giant tower. Back in the vehicle, I told them to get some food. Lynn whipped up some meat, rice, and eggs. Simple but comforting. For lunch, I sent them to rest while I planned my next move. Remembered the panoramic detection radar blueprint I had acquired a while ago. Basic green version only scanned 10 meters, which my level 4 vehicle already did, but I could upgrade it. I know what you're thinking, is that upgrade enough? Let's find out together. I called Liu for her buff first. Using the first charge, the blueprint jumped to blue tier, boosting the scanning range to 30 meters. Much better, but still useless for a 10,000 kilometer city. I crafted it and applied the second charge directly to the radar. It bypassed blue and achieved legendary gold rank. Golden quality radar featuring full domain scanning capability. Monsters and loot in real time up to 1,000 meters, cutting power consumption by 50%. An entire kilometer. With this active, absolutely nothing in this ruined city could hide from me. I installed the upgrade immediately. Console lit up with the new radar interface, immediately pinpointing a yellow dot, a chest less than 200 meters away. A dozen red dots representing mist-infected monsters hovered nearby, drove straight toward them. 3 minutes later, we pulled up to a collapsed store. The radar flawlessly located the chest and every single enemy. Ordering the twins to stay safe inside, I grabbed my sword and walked straight into the ruins. 7 or 8 infected monsters lunged at me as I entered. In less than 10 seconds, they were all dead. I found the crate under the cash register, grabbed it, and walked out as casually as if I were grocery shopping. Through the windows, the twins stared at me in total shock, sighing in relief to see me completely unharmed. Back behind the wheel, I looked at my screen glowing with red and yellow markers everywhere. 1 entire kilometer of absolute map control. It was clear this city held no more secrets from me. First, I planned to head straight to the central tower, but with this radar covering an entire kilometer, there was no rush. It was smarter to clear the outer edges first, gathering supplies while scouting the area. 10 minutes into our drive, the radar picked up a cluster of red dots 1 kilometer away. As I drew closer, the wind carried an unexpected sound, human screams mixed with monster roars. Other players were nearby. We are stopping 30 meters from 2 wrecked trucks, and trust me, you and I are about to see things get wild. Let's dive in together and discover what terrifying danger is waiting on the 2nd floor of this abandoned mall. Yu gets excited when she sees the trucks. Order the twins to stay inside the RV no matter what, then head toward the mall with my sword in hand. Stealthily climb up the shattered stairs that lead straight up to the 2nd floor. 2 men are trapped inside a store, desperately fighting off 6 infected monsters with only a pipe and a machete. Look pale, wounded, and completely exhausted. Second they spot me, they start screaming for help at the top of their lungs. Close the distance in a blink. 3 lightning-fast slashes, and the heads of all 6 zombies roll before they can even react. Both men are completely frozen in shock, letting their weapons drop straight to the floor. They stare at me with their jaws hanging open. I coldly tell them to stop wasting time and follow me downstairs. Snap out of it and follow me immediately, thanking me endlessly and claiming they would be dead without my help. Lead them back outside toward the vehicles. Peering through the window, the twins look surprised to see me bringing 2 strangers along. I turn around to face them. Tell me who you are, how you met, and exactly what you know about this ruined city. Those men cannot seem to tear their eyes away from my massive, impressive RV. The shorter one, Wang Hao, asks where on earth I got such a vehicle. Down instantly, it is none of his business. Close attention here, the taller one, Lele. is smart enough to quickly introduce himself to avoid any trouble. They were former citizens of Linhai who banded together to survive after this morning's Phase 3 announcement, only to get trapped immediately. Unfortunately, they have absolutely no information about the layout of this ruined city. Just then, the twins step outside, and Wang Hao cannot stop staring at them while muttering about how beautiful they are. Yu scowls and complains about his terrible manners while her sister tries to quiet her. Seeing they offer nothing, I decide to leave. We are leaving good luck. Wang Hao immediately panics and runs after us, begging us to take them along with us. The city is far too dangerous for them. They promise to carry supplies or guard the vehicles if we just let them join. Lele backs him up but hesitates, remembering how easily I wiped out 6 zombies in a single second. My answer is a flat no. Do not need help. Survive on your own. Wang Hao gets angry, demanding we support each other. Seems we have to stick together, because nobody survives alone. I turn around slowly and look at him with absolute coldness. One icy glare is enough to freeze him solid, instantly choking the rest of his angry words right back down his throat. Pure terror replaces his anger. Lei holds his friend back, apologizing repeatedly as I head back inside my vehicle. Twins get in and we drive off. Those guys were not actually evil, just incredibly weak and completely desperate. Still, I cannot carry dead weight. Every teammate must bring real value, unique talents, or useful skills. You and I both know that ordinary survivors with metal pipes would have just been a massive, dangerous distraction in the end. In this survival game, careless mercy will cost you your life. Spend the afternoon monitoring the city borders using the radar. In the evening, we secure 10 more supply crates while facing only a few zombies and 0 other players, in a safe zone to spend the night. Stepping inside, I find the twins drenched in sweat and clearly suffering, complaining that this suffocating heat is unbearable, even with the air conditioning running at full blast. Lin adds that since 3 in the afternoon, even breathing inside the vehicle has become physically painful for them. I check the system panel. It displays 50 degrees even though the sun went down. This is definitely not normal. Temperature should drop at night, but it keeps climbing here. Yu mentions the chat is full of panicked players fleeing. Heat in the public zone is apparently far worse than out here. Almost nobody will survive this, and vehicles will not hold up. I pause to analyze our current situation. Extreme climate does not affect me, thanks to my 1445 physical points and nuclear-powered cooling system. Twins are just ordinary humans riding inside a basic level 2 van. If temperatures keep rising, they will be in serious danger. My choice is simple. They sleep in here, and I take the couch. You two can use the bed. Liu practically jumps straight to the ceiling out of pure, unbridled excitement. After spending sleepless nights on stiff seats, a real bed feels like a dream. Lin blushes, worried they might bother me. Her sister drags her into the room before she can object. Dear teammates, I remind them in a calm tone. No problem at all. While they settle in, it is time to reveal the amazing contents of these newly acquired crates. Stick with me to see what surprises hide inside the 10 crates we claim today. Because with Linshi's insane luck, you and I are about to witness some massive loot. But wait, why is it so hot? Were the ruins just trapping the summer heat? Or was there something way more sinister hiding in this place? The temperature kept rising like this. When would my RV break down? I tossed the 11 supply crates onto the sofa. Honestly, this ruined city was giving us way more loot boxes than the open highway ever did. If the streets weren't so blocked, forcing me to crawl, I would have hauled in 4 or 5 times more. I'll haul 1 silver chest, 2 iron, 6 bronze, and 2 common. Linu buffed Lin for the best ones. My basic crates yielded some simple crafting materials: 31 metal blocks, 33 pieces of glass, 26 rubber, 15 plastic, 8 electronic components, 110 fuel and food, including bread, water, instant noodles, milk, canned meat, potatoes, and tomatoes. Lin's 2 chests gave 30 blocks, 18 rubber, 15 components, 40 fuel, flour, alcohol, and that silver jewel. Now, watch this part closely. She popped it open, and her eyes lit up: 30 components, 100 fuel, 10 kilos of rice, and a blue blueprint. It was a protective coating blueprint that, when used on the RV, boosted our defense against rust and impacts. Only needed 5 glass and 5 rubber. Incredibly cheap materials for a huge upgrade. Sorted everything very carefully. Materials went into storage, and the food went straight into the fridge. Seeing our pantry full gave me total peace of mind. We were finally hoarding resources instead of watching them constantly disappear. Next, I asked the twins if they had finished their daily trades to look for useful household goods. We had plenty of water to trade, and our daily living conditions definitely needed a major upgrade. Lou accepted the task with pure excitement. He explained that cooking ingredients were worthless on the market. No stoves in this 50-degree heat. Survivors just threw them away. Perfect for us, and she as our personal chef, plus unlimited water and power. Leaving them to negotiate, I sat at the wheel to plan. I still had 3 talent charges left for today. With 11 crates packed with new resources and blueprints ready, every single choice had to maximize our efficiency. Check this out with me, because I decided to use those 3 charges to upgrade our vehicle. Physical strength was already at 1445, but my mind was lagging behind. Linu still had 1 upgrade charge left. I told her to activate it and got to work. First, I crafted the blue blast-proof glass and upgraded it to purple. Armored, composite crystallized glass could easily withstand medium caliber rounds, flying shrapnel, and massive explosions. Installed it immediately, completely securing the most vulnerable section of our RV. Second, I upgraded the blue protective coating blueprint into a purple-grade anti-corrosive stealth compound. This beauty-absorbed radar waves hid our infrared signature and slashed detection risks while boosting defense. Crafting it required a resource I had never seen in my life: 5 units of quantum raw material. No clue what it was or how to find it, I postponed it. Third goal was expanding the inventory. I crafted it using the blue blueprint, and it activated instantly without a physical item. My storage expanded by 20 slots. I was left completely baffled for a moment. I wanted to upgrade the final item, but there was nothing physical to buff. 1 free charge left, and Lynn's buff ending, I grabbed the green engine blueprint and decided to upgrade it. Turned into a blue turbo pulse engine, 50, but it consumed 24% more fuel. Theoretically, it beat my current blue engine, but the performance jump wasn't big enough to justify installing it yet. I will try upgrading it again tomorrow. Meanwhile, Lynn had been super busy checking out the trading screen. Since nobody out there had a kitchen, raw ingredients were cheap, so she traded water for basically free food and house goods. Current gear setup was ridiculous: the golden luck pendant, the gold full domain radar, items, the nuclear reactor and water collector, plus 3 purple items, including the glass fridge, the plating, blue chassis, and tires. Swapping the glass, the system did not return the old parts. The component replaced over the last few days had completely vanished. Real shame, but not worth stressing over. Just then, Lynn called me over for a massive feast she had prepared. I tossed my frustration aside and sat down to eat. Trust me, I had definitely earned this one. And that's where we leave things today. Tomorrow means 5 charges and hundreds of crates. Are you and I ready for what's coming? Rice, eggs with tomatoes and meat. Join me today as we dive into one of the most intense survival stories of this year. For a brief moment, it felt like being back in the real world. But then Lynn warned me our meat was running out. The trading channels were flooded with vegetables, but scoring actual meat was almost impossible. Then I remembered that I had stored 28 units of blue-grade dog meat inside my bracelet. Totally forgotten during the rush. Lynn complained about the daily limit of 3 trades. Said without limits, all resources would pool in a few hands. Random comment really got me thinking. It was spot on about the game design. Out of curiosity, I decided to check the global leaderboard. Reached 22,430 points, while second place barely had 173. Players already owned level 3 vehicles, but my lead was still massive. I asked them about their stats. Both started with 6 physical strength and 14 mental. The 30% boost, they rose to 7 and 18. Still pretty weak. Lou asked about my physical stat, guessing it was around 20 and calling me an absolute monster. Lynn scolded her for being rude. Stared at them, declaring that from now on, they would eat blue beast meat daily. No exceptions. This will permanently increase their physical strength by 1 full point. Linshi tried to refuse right away. insisting that I should keep it all for myself. I complained about being full and hating meat after eating only roasted protein. I only told her I could no longer use it. You will eat it whether you like it or not. Stored 28 units in the fridge and gave them until midnight. Then she nodded and silenced her sister's whining, because having strong allies was key to my own survival. Besides, this kept my valuable blueprints and talent bonuses safe. Not kindness, but pure strategy. Leaning on the steering wheel past 8 at night, I felt a strange sense of unease. Suwan usually messaged me at this time without fail to share her daily blueprint or ask if I needed anything. Pay close attention right now because the ultimate nightmare is about to unfold. I finally sent her a message, asking if she was safe and offering my help. While waiting, I thought about what I had been putting off. Invite her for days now. Daily blueprint talent was vital. Now, with the upgraded life and death contract, the risk was basically zero. That pact bound everyone's interests together, and I had already seen how it built genuine and unbreakable trust. A long hour passed. In the back, the twins were struggling to choke down their mandatory portions of blue meat. Yu kept complaining, saying she absolutely hated the sight of even one more piece of meat. Her sister urged her to keep going. Then Suwon's message arrived, and we both felt that sudden chill. Can you save me? I am so scared. Monsters are everywhere breaking my truck doors, and I cannot get out. I replied instantly, asking if she trusted me and promising to save her right away. Her reply came a second later, saying she trusted me with her life and desperately needed to escape. Doors were giving way. I did not hesitate. Opened the life and death contract and added Suwan's name. She accepted instantly. I activated teleportation and materialized 10 meters away from my own motorhome. A wrecked level 2 truck appeared out of nowhere, completely covered in scratches with heavily dented doors. Black monster blood completely coated the vehicle after a brutal onslaught. "Suwan," I shouted firmly. Inside the vehicle, a girl was trembling in pure panic, curled up in her seat and clutching her knees. When the wild noises suddenly ceased, and she felt the city's scorching heat instead of her freezing panic, she looked up through the shattered glass and saw me standing outside. Rushing out, she sobbed and clung to my chest. She had been so terrified of dying all alone inside there, but finally she was safe. My fourth ally, the talent I had protected from afar, was now by my side and refused to let go. Drenched in sweat and strange blood, she was shivering. I ordered her inside to escape the 50-degree heat outside. Since she was too shocked to move, I swept her up in my arms and carried her inside the vehicle. The twins completely froze when they saw me walking carrying a disheveled girl who was sobbing uncontrollably. Lynn gasped in total surprise, asking me where on earth I had found such a pretty girl. In the end, you and I both know everything changes from this moment on. All right. You and I are looking at a total disaster. Her clothes are torn, covered in dust and black monster blood. Lynn gently suggested she clean up, speaking softly to Swanwan to assure her she was safe, and I backed those words up. No one will hurt you here anymore. Hearing that, Swanwan finally calmed down and let go of my arm, grabbed her hand and led her away, chattering excitedly about hot showers and her massive collection of clothes. Full uniform would look great on those long legs, while I asked Lynchy to cook high-quality blue meat. Now pay attention, Swan had no physical wounds, just pure panic. Little food and rest would fix everything. An hour later, the bathroom door opened. I accompanied Swan Wan outside, and I could finally get a good look at her. She looked around the twins' age, with delicate features and pale skin, wearing the cute pleated skirt Lynn chose. Looked like a completely different person from the trembling girl I had just carried in my arms. Lynn brought over a plate of roasted meat, sat her down on the sofa, and urged her to eat to boost her stats. And that's where we leave her looking up with red, swollen eyes, softly apologizing for causing any trouble. Feel for her when she admits she's terrified, but we tell her to eat first, so she slowly obeys. I thought the worst had passed, but suddenly her shoulders began to tremble all over again, down her face, and honestly, seeing this completely broke our hearts as we desperately tried comforting her. Lynn rushed over to reassure her that Wu was incredibly strong and there was no need to fear. Swanwan sobbed, wiping her tears. "Okay, not scared, just so happy," she whispered. Raw, sincere words left me completely speechless. Once Swanwan finally finished eating and looked better, I asked her, and pay attention here, what really happened. She had been exploring a public zone alone when 3 players approached, suggesting a safe team-up, and she accepted. Fighting monsters solo was brutal. Everything went smoothly as they spent the afternoon hunting for supply crates together. 4 p.m. the heat became unbearable, forcing them to leave the city. And that is exactly when everything shattered. When dividing the loot, those 3 men betrayed her. Claiming a girl without combat power deserved practically nothing, they robbed her, leaving scraps. Furious, but you and I can see it was 3 against 1. You and I are about to see this get ugly. 1 p.m. they knocked on her door. Sensing danger, she refused to open. Furious, they immediately started smashing her vehicle. And they chased her for 30 minutes until a local monster horde finally scared them away. The beasts, attracted by the chase, completely surrounded her, slamming into her truck without stopping for a single second. And terrified, she was sure she would die until she saw my distress call. Lynn was absolutely furious, and I know exactly what you are thinking. Those guys are total cowards for robbing a helpless girl. Next time you need to teach them a lesson, Lynn said, handing her warm water, and them not to be shocked. In a world with no laws or consequences, people will do anything. And this is only just beginning. Calming down, Swan finally looked around, noticing the huge trailer space, the air conditioning, and the kitchen. Her eyes went wide as she stared at this luxurious trailer, something nobody had ever mentioned to her before. She looked at the twins curiously, and Liu joked that I was hiding my true power from Suwan. Lin formally introduced them, explaining they were contract companions. Swan looked at me with a completely different expression. You and I can feel her relief. Deeply grateful, she thanked us, confessing she wouldn't have survived without our help. You are part of the team now, I said. No thanks needed. Liu skipped over and happily grabbed her arm. Now we are all together. First time since meeting her, Swan showed a warm, genuine smile. In this hostile world, she wasn't alone anymore, none of us were. Wanted to ask about today's blueprints, but she looked exhausted. That could wait. I told her to rest under Lynchie's care. So the 3 girls shared the comfortable back bedroom. Liu was thrilled with the bed, dragging Swan along while talking excitedly. I lay down to plan tomorrow's route. The ruined city was massive, and that dangerous encounter Swan described, with those 3 traitors, was only the beginning. More players were entering the zone, making conflicts inevitable. The night passed quietly. Without incident, I woke up at 6 a.m. The temperature dropped 40 degrees compared to yesterday's peak. And that leaves us wondering, is the heat scheduled, or is the system controlling the exploration window? I could not quite wrap my head around it, but come with me to find out what happens now that the girls left their rooms so early. Let us dive right in and watch Lynn whip up breakfast with noodles, eggs, and yesterday's fresh greens. Shared 4 bowls of hot soup before I finally asked her the burning question that kept tormenting me. Does your talent depend on the vehicle level, Suwan? Rose mid-bite, murmuring that she believed it was a mix of both, though she was not entirely sure. But before I could press her further, Lynn quickly chimed in. You want Suwan to ride in your RV, do you not? No. Stuff, she teased. With a playful look, she gently suggested that I should let Suwan join me inside my own vehicle. With her skills on a level 4 transport, her daily blueprints would have much higher quality. I hesitated for a moment. Would my advanced system recognize her skill, or would she stay stuck? Stared at me like I was completely clueless. They can merge. She just abandons hers and boards yours. Everyone in the group chat does it since public zones opened up. Lynn confirmed that players often abandoned their cars to travel together as road companions. This was common knowledge in the chats, but I had been too distracted to even notice. Looking at Suwan, I told her the choice was hers. Even if you refuse, you are still family. Not hesitate. We'll do whatever you ask. I never want to be alone out there again. Lou cheered happily. Because with this brand new bond, our small family is finally complete and ready to face anything. My own combat strength, my mythical talent, Lynn's upgrades, and her absolutely incredible loot booster, combined with Suwan's blueprints, boosted by my level 4 home. Let us see what we can accomplish now. Suwan ran out and returned 2 minutes later out of breath, holding a glowing blue sphere, the core of her old vehicle, integrated her old truck right before our very eyes. I'm ready, she whispered, handing it over. Only wish I had not wasted yesterday's blueprint on my old truck. Those materials are already gone. In the core, I gently told her not to worry about the past. Resources do not matter. You are the real treasure here. I meant her talent, our greatest advantage for survival. Seeing Lynn's knowing smile, her sister's blush, and Suwan's tears, they definitely completely misunderstood my words. I quickly changed the subject to the weather. It was already 40 degrees outside at sunrise. Yesterday's pattern repeated. We would reach 50 or more by afternoon. I'm cutting our time short on purpose. Lynn had a theory from the chats. Players believed the city center held elite supplies, and the extreme heat was meant to drive us away. Still with me. Today we are aiming straight for the center, toward that massive skyscraper. Everyone agreed, and we set off immediately in 2 cars. Su-wan rode with me, while the twins followed closely behind in their truck. Repeated yesterday's strategy. The radar detects a chest. I stop, clear the monsters, grab the loot, and keep moving. At noon, the central tower was already coming into view. Suddenly, Su-wan handed me a message from the twins. The temperature was climbing way too fast. The closer we got, the more suffocating it became. It hit 50 degrees by noon, and Lynn rushed into my vehicle, absolutely terrified. The AC in their truck was blasting on high, but it already read 36 degrees inside and kept climbing. I followed, apologizing for holding me back. I told her firmly, never say that again. Their level 2 vehicle could not handle this hell. The nuclear-powered home protected us, but their truck was turning into a death trap. I had to find a quick solution before the suffocating afternoon heat blocked their path to the center completely. I asked Lynn to prepare lunch while I desperately searched for a way out of this difficult situation. We ate. We all stared at the screen showing 50 degrees. The vehicle was at its absolute limit. Going deeper meant facing even more extreme temperatures. I made a choice. Twins would hide their truck in an abandoned shop and board mine. They agreed. Quickly camouflaged their truck and climbed straight up into my RV, toward the skyscraper. Temperature continued to rise 50, 51, 52 degrees. About 1,000 meters away, the radar lit up completely. Dozens of red dots surrounded the tower, with a massive yellow beacon shining right at the center. Inside the building, up close, the skyscraper was astonishingly gigantic, looming higher than any known structure, piercing the clouds, covered in cracks and dust, yet absolutely majestic. The girls fell into absolute silence. It was 55 degrees outside. Any normal human would collapse in 30 minutes in this intense heat. Ordered them to lock themselves inside. You and I cannot miss what happens in our next episode. Alright, you and I are diving straight into some high-stakes drama today. Su-wan clung to me, but Lu told her to relax. He is basically a total monster. Meanwhile, Lynn stared at me and whispered to head back if things got too dangerous. Gripped my sword, I stepped out into a literal hell. Outside, the suffocating heat made everything look warped and blurry. Not care. Stepping inside, the building smelled of rot, and the lobby was crawling with black fog-infected monsters. Right in the middle stood a massive 2-meter-tall beast, with arms that were way thicker than my own thighs. Looked like a real final boss. Seeing him brought back something I had not felt in days, pure, absolute excitement. Lately, everything had been too easy, just one shot. Finally, someone was going to force me to actually try. Me only 3 minutes, with me holding back, because going all out would have ended it way faster. None of them could even scratch me. When the giant collapsed, a strange supply chest I had never seen before spawned, glowed with beautiful golden patterns. The very second I touched it, its name flashed clearly in my mind, Gift of the Brave. I walked straight back to our motorhome, carrying this golden chest in my hands. Lynn rushed to praise my speed, blushing madly, until her sister covered her mouth and apologized for her. Then Su-wan laughed at the sight. Suddenly, all that heavy tension inside the motorhome just melted away. Now pay close attention to this. Gift of the Brave on the table, deciding we would open it tonight. Linu threw a tiny tantrum but agreed, staring at the chest like a kid. Meanwhile, Linchi offered to drive so I could rest. Su-wan kept watch on the radar as co-pilot while I lay down to rest for a bit. An hour later, she detected 6 red dots moving steadily, not just game monsters. Suddenly, a chest dropped 500 meters away from them. Ordered Linchi to drive straight there without hesitating. Do not seek out fights, but we do not run either. Reached the chest first, right beside a safe, empty store. Grabbed it, and was about to turn around when 4 trucks pulled up, and 6 people climbed out. 3 dirty men and 3 dirty women stared at my motorhome like it was an alien spaceship. Old guy asked if I was alone, wanting to know how I got the ride, and offered an alliance. I bet you already know how I answered. Another buff dude insisted we should explore the dangerous city center together. I turned them down and gave them some honest advice: do not go downtown. The heat there is absolutely lethal. Normal people will not survive. In my vehicle and drove off, leaving them whispering behind my back. I knew exactly what they were thinking. They realized this insane motorhome had to belong to the number one player. They wanted to tail me, and the fat guy was already plotting to steal my ride, as if they stood a chance. One of the women admitted it was an impossible dream, but the group decided to follow us anyway. Humans are always the most treacherous variable in this game. They tracked us on radar for hours, but I ignored them. Heat forced them to retreat. Lynn let out a sigh of relief, seeing those annoying shadows finally leave. At 6 p.m. I decided to stop. Tomorrow we would recover the twins' hidden truck and keep clearing the outskirts of the city. Right at that moment, a bright flash lit up the table as a teal chest materialized out of thin air. Liu jumped back, startled. Blushing Su-wan explained that her special skill had triggered her daily blueprint chest. And inside my level 4 motorhome was perfect, proving her talent was now linked to me. Lynn parked us in a hidden spot next to some ruins and started preparing our dinner. Then I displayed all our loot, one gift of the brave, 2 silver, 8 iron, 15 bronze, 3 common, and hers. I tried to touch her talent chest first. Invisible force pushed me back. Only she could open it. Even Linu's upgrade was useless here. That chest depended solely on Su-Wan-Wan's skill level and the vehicle itself, with no outside upgrades possible. Opening it revealed a blue defense blueprint. Her smile faded when she saw our faces, since we already had that design. Lynn rushed to comfort her gently. I reassured her that duplicate blueprints still held excellent trade value, handed it over looking pretty down, but we had just confirmed a monumental breakthrough, and that is how her talent now makes blue blueprints inside our level 4 ship instead of level 2. Wild, right? Our upgrade worked exactly as we planned, and tomorrow's blueprint is going to be something entirely new. And with that massive pile of unopened loot boxes sitting on the table, including that precious golden gift, the real opening show was only just beginning. I had absolutely no time to waste. I had all 26 boxes to open them, setting aside the silver ones and the golden gift. Sadly, the results were disappointing. Just basic resources: 60 fuel, 86 units of metal, 32 plastics, 36 rubber, 48 glass, and 16 components, along with some food and daily supplies. Not a single blueprint or basic gear. Seriously, Lynn, you really held back on me. Your luck is terrible. So many boxes and nothing good. Let me open them next time, Su-Wan teased. Actually, that is pretty good. Whenever I open boxes, I usually only get 2 or 3 items per chest. My average of 3 to 4 items per box was above normal. Honestly, I had never compared my results with anyone before. I thought everyone got the same loot. Now I realized just how much my lucky gold pendant had been helping me, quietly upgrading every single chest since day 1, completely taken it for granted all this time. Only 3 boxes remained. Pay attention here, because every eye in the room turned straight toward Linshi. Your turn, I told her. Looked nervous since her talent only increased loot without guaranteeing anything. Did not want to disappoint us. Linu took her hand to activate the buff, while Swan and I told her to relax. Anything we got would be a win. Trembling slightly, she opened the 2 silver chests first. Components: 100 fuel, and 2 rare items: a blue energy core and a spiritual seed. The description of that seed immediately caught our attention. It was a special crop pulsing with pure vital energy. Permanently boosts physical stats with no side effects, though it needs vital energy to grow. It matures in 72 hours. One was shocked, since she thought only monster meat could boost stats. I praised the find to boost her confidence, though honestly, a vehicle blueprint would have been much more useful to me. Still, this renewable booster was incredible for the team, and she finally relaxed and showed a huge smile. She handed me the seed and headed toward the last golden box, the challenger gift dropped by the boss. We all held our breath as her hand reached out to touch it. The golden chest opened slowly. You are not going to believe what happened next. Then she waited for my nod before revealing 4 incredible items. First, genetic optimization fluid, a unique consumable that grants 20 permanent physical stat points. And an auto part selection coupon, letting us choose one of 3 rare blue quality components: turbo engine, armored glass, or a reinforced chassis, plus a purple M249 machine gun with 2,000 rounds, vehicle-mounted weapon, the very first one I had ever laid eyes on, silver talent fragment needing 10 to craft a stone. Linu was amazed, having only read of epic items. One was just as shocked by this talent fragment that everyone was desperately searching for. Congratulated Linchi for her incredible contribution. Her talent combined with Linu's buff boosted our rewards far beyond what I could have gotten alone. Blushing, Linchi handed over the loot, trusting me fully. I sent her and Suan to rest, but asked Linu to stay for her buff. Sat down to plan my 5 daily talent uses. M249 machine gun, my first mounted weapon. Upgrading it would turn my mobile home into a walking fortress. Second on the list was yesterday's turbo engine blueprint. Since it was already blue quality, I would craft it to boost the final product. Third was the selection coupon, the reinforced chassis to protect the vehicle's frame, leaving only the tires as the blue quality weak spot. Fourth and fifth, the green workbench blueprint I had been holding onto since chapter 40, unknown potential, but I felt it would be massive. When ready, I turned to Linu, waiting patiently. Ready whenever you are. Linu activated her booster, and I immediately got to work on that M249. My talent triggered a double rank jump from purple straight to orange. The light machine gun transformed into a 30mm autocannon. The cooling panel slid open, and a retractable metal mount slowly rose, locking firmly into its position. Its stats were insane: armor-piercing incendiary rounds and high explosive grenades. 120-round drums, 60 of each. Manual or remote control, reaching 2,500 meters on land, and trust me, you and I are going to love seeing it fire. 1,000-meter range, self-regenerating ammo, and a legendary motto that is where we left things, because caliber is absolute justice. We seriously need to look at this absolute monster of a design. Power is everything, and this cannon is king. Nuclear reactor powering it. Energy was a joke. Linu was absolutely speechless as that massive cannon rose from the roof. Everyone was losing their minds, but I told them to chill. Next up, crafting a turbo pulse engine and upgrading it right away. Boom! It hit purple tier as a supercharged engine, boosting our speed to 60 with some insane power for climbing steep hills. Once that was installed, I grabbed the full coverage chassis coupon and started upgrading it immediately. Pay close attention here. It transformed into a purple armored chassis that survives high-speed crashes and direct explosions. The walls darkened with heavy metal plating. After that, I burned through my 4th and 5th workshop charges. First charge upgraded my blueprint from green to blue, then used the final charge on our last item. Absolutely insane double jump straight from blue to gold. It transformed right before our eyes into an intelligent command center. Main systems autopilot, full diagnostics, weapon management, and target locking. My motorhome finally has a brain. I know what you are thinking. Pulling off 2 double-level upgrades in a single day is absolute madness. The machine gun and smart center turned this motorhome into a literal war machine, boosting our top speed to 240 kilometers per hour. Inventory now has 3 orange items, 2 gold, 5 purple, and 1 blue. My total score skyrocketed from 22,430 to 33,610. The global game chat was probably about to blow up again, but honestly, not give a single damn. And that is exactly where we leave it today, looking at an absolute beast ready to survive anything.